treat that I got you from the gas station, so be good. Let's see. Now, the used ones, I don't know if y'all can see it. Let's see. Yep, the ones that start out with use. I always use blue because sometimes they're telling us to use modifiers or not. So I like to do blue stars for that. And then the ones that say for your information, they all start with the 4. I use a green star. Sometimes I check in blue because there's so many 4s. I do.
Do you, Grandma's wondering where you put the vanilla chocolate bag of purple cookies, the vanilla and Oreos?
Children ate them all. I wouldn't have any of them. I have no idea. Y'all ate them all. Grandma's wanting to know where the cookies are. Really? They don't last overnight in this household. Anybody else like that? Their household is all crazy when it comes to cookies. Lord help. Cookies are gone. Our house is empty, empty, empty of cookies. All right, we got 2 revisions. We've got a colposcopy. And then computer aided. All right. This isn't too bad. Too bad at all as far as the differences go. I'm just working on the 2022 book, but what I have tonight is practice exam questions for the CPC exam. I'm going to show you the process of elimination. I'm going to show you techniques that you can learn to look at the answers to figure out the answer to a question. You haven't even looked at the question yet. And I have updates on what was on the exam as of this Saturday. Thanks to Beth. So what code am I on here? 57423. Nothing too crazy here. We're gonna, yeah. We're just gonna box these, and I'm just bracketing is what I do now. I think the other way is just too much time, too much effort, too much ink, and bracketing. A few things is good. I don't do everything anymore. The main thing that will help you for the exam, CPC is going to definitely pick CPT codes with the same description. And there's only a very slight difference between the two. So it might be these 2 biopsies since they start out with the same. If you don't know the difference, because this one's biopsy of the cervix, and then this one is also biopsy of the cervix. So what's the difference? That would be an excellent example. So if you're boxing other things, and yeah, they're all related, but they're not as that related, this is what they're going to pick on, is something with this very same exact code descriptors. And they're going to want to see if you know the differences between those codes. They're also going to pick on things that have parenthetical notes, like this 5761. They're going to have an answer that's going to have the 574656 in it with this one as a possible answer. So as soon as you get a list of answers and you get to your codes, first thing you need to do is make sure you can't just automatically get rid of some answer because it's listed here in the do nots. That'll help you out really fast in eliminating some of the wrong answers. And then these that are the same descriptor. If you don't know the difference, you need to find out the differences between these. And we're just sliding all over the place. So this one is going to be a biopsy of the cervix. Plus endo. This one is just going to be the biopsy, and I'll change colors because I like doing that. Biopsy of just the cervix. RVIX. And then we've got 2 loops right here. So with loop electro, so the one difference is this one's going to be a biopsy and this one's going to be conization. So this one's going to be biopsy with a cone. This one's just going to be the biopsy. They're both going to be electrodes. So bracketing these two together so that we know these are both electrodes. Is super helpful. That way you know electrode biopsy or biopsy cone. This one is going to be just the normal colposcopy bracket, but this one's a biopsy of the cervix and the endocervix. This one's just a biopsy of the cervix. Then this one's going to be a curette. And I do like these push buttons. You don't have to keep up with the caps, which is super handy dandy because I've been using these ultrafine Sharpies forever. But the caps, putting them on the wrong ones, you see this one's supposed to be gray, but I have the blue cap on it. I don't know where the gray cap is, but I got to find it and put it on there because I get them all mixed up all the time. Well, this will prevent it because it's retractable. So I don't have to worry about keeping up with the caps, but they also have it in ultrafine, which is very, very nice for writing right here because it's super smooth and you don't have to write dark at all. Write super light. Don't put any pressure on it. That way it doesn't bleed through to the pages underneath. And see, you can't see it. Only when I do the dark ones for the outline right there can you see through. So this works great. These work great. I was worried they were going to dry out too fast. If you do happen to leave it up, like pushed and not retracted overnight, and you get up in the morning and the tip is dry, all you got to do is get you a bottle of ibuprofen. I just keep it here on my desk, and you just leave it stuck out like that and just drop it in there for 1 second and pull it right back out, and it will flow like a faucet again. Good as new. You can it's like re-wetting your mascara wand when your mascara is about to run out and it gets a little dry. But that works really great. Alright, we got a curette and colposcopy. That's just your normal colposcopy. But Out of everything under the sun I've seen and paid for and been advised to do, the putting things all the way around all of this and then highlighting what's after the semicolon is not as helpful, I don't believe, as putting one word beside matching descriptors, like I did here, the loop. I could probably have left off the curette, and I could leave off this one. But anything that matches biopsy, well, what's the difference between the biopsy of the cervix and the biopsy of the cervix of these two right here? Putting that difference here right underneath the code is going to save you more time and help you pick out the right answer far beyond anything else I've ever seen on the internet. For sure. Don't forget to mark your do nots. Don't forget to mark your use.
Oreos.
I gave them to Grandma. Somebody ate up all the cookies and she was wanting.
Oh, it was Travis.
No, I gave them to Grandma.
Yeah, but Travis was eating all the cookies.
When? Right now?
I don't know, but like you
When? The other ones we have, right? Not the ones I just gave Grandma, right? Yes. And you're not even one of them. They are hers. And you didn't eat any dinner. And you've been mean to me. Get in my room right now. That should have been obvious to you not to eat those. Lord help. I don't care. You haven't eaten dinner. You don't eat cookies that I give my mother because she asked for them. They're not for you. You need to eat your chicken dinner before you eat your cookies. That's self-evident. You're 13. You know better. Okay? You're just ruining your dinner. Sorry, guys. Intermission to yell at the kids. All right. Howdy, howdy. Bryn. Nice to see you. I think you're new. Haven't seen you. Who else do we got in here? We only have 14. Okay. How's everybody else doing? Hey, Nomad Girl. We are working on getting everybody to pass their CPC exam, and I'm just sharing some tips of what I do to the CPT book so that you know what is going to help you more than anything else. Be sure and write the body part functions down. Yes, they have things labeled, but what does it do? What does the fundus of the uterus do? Do you know what the... Oh, good Lord, I don't think I could say that word. The infundibulum with fimbriae. Sounds like I'm cooking. But what that does is it sweeps your eggs into the fallopian tube after ovulation. It's a sweeper. So that kind of stuff will help you out during the exam. That way, if you're asked, you can run to that really quick. Putting those one-word differences between the CPT codes is super helpful. When there is a biopsy, when there's not a biopsy, I put a plus sign biopsy. I put a circle with a line through it for no biopsy. I mark my do nots. I mark my fours and my to use codes. Prefixes and suffixes before every section, of course, and definitions of things. If you don't know what a lavage is, then that's just a washing out. Go look up the word. Google is your friend. If you don't know what the splenoid sinus looks like or what they're referring to the wings of your sinuses. Anything like that is super helpful. Don't forget to mark it in blue stars when it tells you when you're supposed to use a modifier. This is telling me to use a 50 modifier on this code when I need to. And that's super helpful because it's always confusing when to use them, when not to use them. When a procedure is unilateral, I mark it with a big U. When it's bilateral, I put a B beside that CPT code so that it's alerting me. If I'm going to need a bilateral for this, I might need to use a modifier. If it already is bilateral already in the CPT code, having that B there is super helpful because you don't have a lot of time. I ended up with some more questions from our exam, from Saturday's exam. Beth was generous enough to try to write down some of her thoughts and ideas of what was on the exam, what questions I'd already queried her on during her tutoring that might have already been, or that were on her exam on Saturday. She let me know that I actually quizzed her on one that was on the exam, so that's super helpful. And some other codes and stuff that were on her exam. I have this running sheet that we haven't been able to update in 3 weeks because nobody's taken the exam since December 31st when we had Paris who took the exam. If I could get the site to work, let me turn on my Wi-Fi, maybe that'll help. And I have this document that we had worked on since before December 31st, but that was the last info that I had. It is collecting all the information that people share with me to say what was on the exam for me to share with you guys. So it's going to be ideas, suggestions, codes, types of questions, just raw information from people that come out of their CPC exam and they tell me what they think was on their exam or remember. Like, you can't specifically remember the questions and what the answers could have been, but you know that, oh, that CPT code was on there, or I know this HIPICS code was on there, or I know that Medicare Part B question was on there, those kinds of things. So I've got this document on Etsy that lists out what was on the exam, probably in the last 60 days now. So I need to update it with the new information from today. I had one person take it Monday online and one person take it Saturday in person. And I have suggestions from both those people of what was on the exam. So if you purchase this document before, I always update it with the new information and I send out the new updated document back out to you in an email. I have not updated it with today's info, but I will tonight, so I will send out a new updated version. So it's going to probably end up being around 31 pages now. It'll be longer, but once you pay for it once, you don't have to pay for it again. But this information can be helpful. I mean, at least you might know one vocabulary term or something. And some of it's raw data, some of it I just have a CPT code, but still that's helpful. If you know that that was going to be, that one code was on your exam, you could go look it up ahead of time and make sure that it was something you understood. And if you didn't understand it, you'd have time to ask a teacher or a mentor or friends. Can you not go eat real dinner food? Her chicken leg. And then you can have your treat, okay?
I'll eat 2 if I have to.
That'd be good. So I got to update this document tonight. I will get that done. I did get posted a 130 question practice questions and answers just for anatomy. So you're not going to have a lot of anatomy questions like you used to, but a lot of people have been asking, and I did get that posted up on Etsy. It's going to be the question, and then the answer will be right after at the end of the question, but scoot it on down. So it's a Word document, so just read your question like it's a normal question for your exam. Try to think of the answer and circle it as best you can. Even if you have it as a PDF, you can still draw on it, mark on it, whatever you want to do. All the cell phones have apps of some sort with Adobe that can bring it up and you can draw on it. You can still circle your answer and then see if you got it right. I should have given you enough space. There's only 2 questions per 8.5-inch page so that you can't see the answer right away. So you should be able to work that. It's fairly easy. But it's a comprehensive list and information from my sheet where people just told me I had this vocabulary term and I have no idea what it meant. And we put it on my document that says what was on the exam the last 45 days. I made my own questions about those vocabulary words if I couldn't find one from my stash of questions that I have. So, like this one is, if you don't know what the prudential nerve is or where it's located, that was on our exam on December 31st. So if you don't know where that particular nerve is, anybody who's been watching me for a little while will know where that is because I've preached about it. But things like that, that's the second question on this 130 question thing. So it's there. I made sure to have updated information on it too. And then, of course, each section of the CPT book with my notes is on there too. As I'm updating, I'm posting the 2022 versions of the book up. Some of them still only have the 2021 version up. And some people wanted me to keep the 2021 versions up because that's the book that they have, which is fine. I also have 2 documents up that will change your 2021 CPT book into a 2022 compliant book if you want to. You can absolutely, and don't let any teachers or anybody at some email address or your proctors tell you shouldn't or can't, or they even make you feel like you can't bring these books to a 2022 CPC exam, but you absolutely can. There is no need for you to buy a 2022 book. Don't be muscled into it this year. Now, if it was 2021 and we had all those changes from 2020, I absolutely would not recommend you using the older book. I would tell you honestly if it was going to be too much trouble. But you can absolutely do it this year. They didn't have that many updates. There's 5 new codes in E&M, 4 in one whole section, and then 1 to update, to add. One code gets a parent code. So you actually only have 5 things to do in E&M. Here's one of the new updated codes that you need. It's just a child code that goes with this code. This one will become a parent code, just like the previous code before it. It has a child code. This one just adds 30 minutes, so if there's additional time, you can add that code to this. But it's a great, perfect year to keep these books since you've already done the work of adding all these notes in, like I have. And our books are probably falling apart, but if you're just going to take your new attempt and you don't want to spend any more money because you already have spent enough, I do have a document up there on Etsy that will help you. It'll tell you what page to go to write what code, and then you just put in the description. Now, I did add in all the do nots or something else that would come with that code. There's not going to be any way to write everything that I included. You're going to need to make sure that, you're just not going to be able to write like this child code came with all those do nots. Well, it's going to be the same thing for this child code that goes with this one. There's going to be a whole list. Even the parent code has all these do nots. And if you do look in my document, you'll note that these do nots are the same exact ones that are in the parent code anyway. And you can't code this one by itself without the adult code anyway. It's not going to affect you to leave all that information off. All you need is the number, the CPT number, and then a description of what it means. And all it is, it's an add-on code, so I'll put the plus symbol in front of it. I can do it times because it's going to be the each descriptor, and then it's 30 minutes each time. That's all you need. I didn't specifically tell you not to write all the stuff. It's just there's not going to be enough space. I told you what page number, and I give you the code and the full description. I went on and typed it all out, and I have all the do nots listed there too, because I wanted to give you a full thing. Because if I don't tell you everything, I get yelled at for not telling you everything. And then if I do tell you too much, I'm going to get yelled at for that too. But honest, promise to goodness that you can turn this into a 2022 book super easy. It shouldn't take you more than one evening to do because it's not that much information. It's 4 new codes here in E&M in addition to this one. Go eat another one. One more. 2 of them. What about James? Is he eating 2 chicken legs? Okay. And then there's 4 codes to add in the back. They're new psychiatric ones. They're going to be in between your critical care and your psych services right here. They're 4 brand new additional codes. And probably the best spot to put those is right here on this last page, on page 69. If you still have the space from 70, you could write them there. But they're just 2 parent codes with 2 child codes. Fairly simple, but you got plenty of room right here to write them in. I don't think they're going to be used for the CPC exam, but you never know. You only have like 4 new additional anesthesia codes, and you get to delete 2 of them. So seriously, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think there's anything in integumentary until you get to musculoskeletal. You can do this update. What about you, Jay? Did you eat your chicken legs?
No.
Go eat your chicken
Can I at
legs.
least get a Laffy Taffy?
Of course, you're going to get 2 of them, but go eat your chicken legs, okay?
Okay. How many?
2 chicken legs.
3.
Eat 3 then. Oh my God. I don't know why I do this at dinner time every night, but I do. I don't want to do it so late. It's already East Coast. I have to, I'm already so late for you guys. But those documents are there. And, oh, I got some cool information. Somebody, Beth, who took her exam on Saturday, came with her 2021 book in, like, Chicago, Illinois, like some big town in Illinois. Maybe she went to Peoria. I'm not sure. But just a big, huge, super mega city in Illinois. She went to a center that does just the AAPC, her chapter location. They looked at her rainbow books and had no issues with what we've been doing, like I keep telling you, with our books. They loved the rainbows, didn't say a word about her book, and could not care that she had a 2021 book either. So that was this Saturday. So please don't be pressured into buying another book, transferring all your notes, fixing all those out of sequences and stuff all over again. Don't do it. This year you can actually keep this book. It'll be a good book. I have some documentation from AAPC too that I got from their site that says you can actually use previous year books. They strongly recommend you don't, but I am thwarting any issues by not having the updated codes in your book by making sure you put the new codes in your book. So we're going to not even have that as an issue, but it's not an issue anyway because you can bring your previous year books for current year. Absolutely. I brought 2018 books to my 2019 exam. I was not about to redo all that mess, so yeah, it's fine. Absolutely, you can do it. And I even have the Proctors instructions. I got them to send me the PDF instructions to be a proctor if I wanted to at my local chapter, and these instructions of what they're supposed to do during the exam or cannot do. What they wrote in the book is not even all we're looking for is sticky notes, glued or stapled pieces of paper. That's all the instructions say that we need to be worried about. Even the AHIMA, CCS, and CCA, their proctor exam instructions go even further to say they are not allowed to even decide for themselves whether what is written in their books is appropriate or not. It is up to the examee to have appropriate information written in their books that they bring for their exam. So the proctors for AHIMA aren't even allowed to even judge your books. There's a lot of chicken right there. You gotta eat all that chicken. There's a lot of chicken there. A lot of chicken there. Where? Why am I micromanaging your chicken? All that is chicken.
Not.
Yeah, it is, and so is all that.
That's just like the
That
squishy parts.
No, it's not squishy. Nope. That is chicken. That ain't squishy. Anybody else got a picky eater? I told my other one to get 2 pieces of chicken, and he said, I'm getting 3. My other one's great. This one, Lord help.
I'm special, okay?
Yeah, but you specially ate all Grandma's
No.
Oreo
She
cookies.
still has more. She's giving 2 to James.
James ain't getting more because he's getting Laffy Taffy. Anybody who's curious, the Cobra is in the shop now.
Done.
My old-timey car from the 90s. It's getting some work done on her. So she's actually in the shop now. I know we had one of the husbands working on it, or listening in on my conversations the other night. That ain't done. That is all chicken. That is all chicken. Confirm. Chicken. That is chicken. Y'all, you need to eat that chicken. That ain't squishy parts. Eat the chicken. Eat the chicken. All right, let me check messages. Hey, Kim. You're new and you're struggling. I knew I haven't seen you before, Bryn. Bryn, if you're not in our chat study group, I have a free chat study group on Messenger. And yeah, I know it's Facebook Messenger, but it's really the best option. I'm even trying to buy one for my website, and it's just Facebook Messenger's got it going on. But come find me at Jen Brewer on Messenger. Message me there. I'll add you into my study chat group. The girls there are on fire. We're constantly submitting questions and answers of practice exam questions. They're there to help you. Everybody, and when somebody takes their exam, you get the first info back about what was on it, what worked for them to practice, what worked for them to have in the book, all that stuff. I volunteer my time. Everybody does to help everybody in there daily. You don't have to wait for my lives on TikTok. I try to do my lives 2 hours, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's debate whether we'll change it from Friday night to Saturday night because date night. But other than that, I try to keep it really consistent. And the repeat lives, if TikTok records them, I post them on YouTube at Coding by Jen. You can go back and see all my old repeat lives from TikTok there. But it's really nice to be here and interact. So I hope we can help you. Messenger, TikTok, and then I have a website if you need to schedule tutoring with me one-on-one. It's there, but I hope to have a lot more information there soon. I'm working with a web developer to put all of our info into one location instead of me going here and go there, you know. We can all have it all right there in one location. So you can have one.
Yay! Hey,
Both of them get treats, so you don't have to go back out to cookies. Because I already had Laffy Taffies for them. You got your 3 chicken legs. 3 chicken legs. What'd I do with the other one? What'd I do with the other one? Okay. I'll give James his treat for eating his dinner. I'm not much of a candy person, but I was out paying the car guy. I had to stop and fill up my regular car on gas, and was showing James how to use a debit card and all that stuff. It's kind of fun to show your kids. It was funny because I have one of those ones that you can just tap a machine with the card, and it was funny because he was like, didn't know what I meant by the tapping thing. You just press it on there. So he was trying to do this to it, and yeah, that was funny. Kids are fun. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work, buddy. That's funny. But he's almost 13, so it's about time he learned how to use a debit card, I guess. I don't know. It's fun to teach him something new. I'm always teaching. If I'm not teaching you guys, I'm teaching the boys or something. Oh my goodness. Okay. Y'all want to know what was on this exam. Hey, Amy. Hey, Kim. Thanks for the share. Thank you so much for the share in the live. I think it gets out to more people that way. Hey, Teresa. Let's see what your question is. I have a question. I saw on one of your screenshots in the messenger group had a list of books that she could bring. Was a medical dictionary. I'm mistaken about the screen. I wish we used to be able to, and some of the specialities are allowed to bring one, I believe still, but let me see. Where is my... I shared that today too with somebody. What was her name? Oh, good Lord. No, I won't remember. I'm not even. Oh my gosh, I can't wait till Beth passes. Oh my gosh, she thinks she failed, and I'm like, there's no way. No way you failed. All right, who else was I talking to today? Who else? I mean, I'm really starting to get busy with all these messages. Here we go. Okay. Was this it? The screenshot that you were talking about? I wonder if this is on it. So CPC can only have 1, 2, 3. So we can only have the books 1, 2, 3 right there. 1 is a CPT, and it can only be from AMA. That's it. Now, we can get our choice of ICD-10. Doesn't matter what manufacturer, like if you get Optum or AMA or AAPC's version. It says printed guidelines, but I don't think they like you bringing in paper. And then your HipPix books, which is number 3. The rest of this 4, 5, 6, and whatever else, all this stuff is not on your CPC list. So you got to follow the chart, and you can only do what it says right there. Some people might be able to bring something like that. It just depends on what they're allowed to bring or not. But I'm not sure. We used to be able to bring a medical dictionary, but now they do not allow us to bring a medical dictionary at all. I don't know why, but nope, we can't bring it. And I've had the group open since April of last year, so things change, things update. Okay. And they allowed it. Dread. Wonder, was it this year? Was it 2021? That's awesome. If you are and you can get one in there, have at it. I took one, but I took mine in 2018 and 19 or something like that. So it was years ago. Michelle, I failed my CPC last year and I really want to get studying again. I do tutoring. I just showed you what website you can go to, but watching my repeat lives, joining in and participating with the practice exam questions, which I'll get to as soon as I get through talking, and then joining my chat group is step one, because these girls are great in here. We constantly sharing copies of notes, copies of whatever we've got, the practice exam questions that we might find. You can see here they're working on it. If you have a question about what does something mean, what does that stand for, somebody else will chime in and answer. Y'all do such a really nice job of this. This is really great. I love seeing all the participation. This is a question that if you're deciding on going into risk assessment, I've been asked to do some tutorials on risk and COC, so I'm working on finding questions for those and working out some explanations in a format that everybody can understand, and some strategies and techniques for this exam too, on how you would tackle the risk assessment and the COC exam. So today I posted one for the risk in chat, but you're always the first one to know about anything in our lovely little chat group. And what she was talking about is if you click on this little eye icon at the top and you scroll down to media files, I'm not sure if it works with everybody or if you have to be in the group for a long time, but any of our files that we've shared as far as photos are all listed here. And then if you click on that, you can see our PDFs or documents, Word documents that we've shared too. But all super helpful, lovely group. I'm going to be transferring all this because not everybody can see this. I'm not sure what the difference is, and I think it's because you need to be a member of the group, and then we share that picture while you're a member, and then you can go see it in the media files. But you can't see all of our ever since April ones, which that's where the good stuff is. You know, of course, like I have great little pictures like this that are great for telling you exactly what's in each part of Part A. And again, if you wanted to, you can click into this live and swipe right. It gets rid of all the chat talk, and then you can do a screenshot of the screen during my live if you wanted a picture of anything that I share while I'm here. But all these things that we have in here, I want to get them on my website because it's vital information. Like, if you don't know what the medulla does, what its function is, or the cerebellum, I won't be able to say all these, which one controls hearing, which one does what, you need to go write this where we have the brain drawn in here in the CPT book. Just write the function, one word function beside each word, which is super helpful. And I like to go find really good, simple to the point, what does this do? What does that do? In one word terms, pictures, so that you can tell easily what to add into your book. I have these one-sheeter things that'll tell you there's 4 different guidelines for sepsis diagnosing, and they're separated into 2 categories, with or without acute organ failure. And if you take these one-sheeter things that I make and you go write these examples at the ICD-10 codes, so you go to A41.9, whatever page that is in your ICD-10 book, and you write these examples down like it's only 1 code if it's this one. It's only 2 codes if it's this one, and that's the proper order that they go in. It's 3 codes if it's this type of system going on, and then it's shock. You're going to start out with your T code first, and then these. Go write these right next to that A41 code, all 4 of them down. You'll be ready for the exam for any sepsis question for sure. So all this stuff is super helpful and handy dandy to have. I just want to get it all to one place where we can have access to it. Everybody can. So where is Live? Live is on TikTok. I hope she found us. What is my name here? Is it Jen Brewer? I should change it, shouldn't I? I don't know. I should change it to maybe Medical Coding by Jen or something, but I didn't intend on making a TikTok for this, but I ended up doing it. Anyway, hopefully she found us. All right. I do tutoring, all on my website, all on the right side. Okay, hi everyone. Hey MK, good to see you again. December of 2021, and they let you bring in a medical dictionary. Gotta love your proctor. She's owed a box of cookies, but still didn't pass, so dang it. My what's been on the CPC exam the last 45 days has all the anatomy on it. We don't have as many questions either. What, do we have like 5 or 6 questions? It's not very many now of anatomy. You should be fine, but that's super nice that they let you bring in one. The Facebook chat is amazing. Yeah, I think it is. So to join the Facebook chat, please come find me, just like you have on TikTok. Come look for me on Messenger, which is Facebook. And sorry, I just switched my accounts to my cat account. My cat has 2,000 followers. I wish I could find that dang cat. She got out of the house. Well, I was trying to go to the gym, and she won't come back. Okay. And she's fixed. So she was a fixed house cat, but she's just ornery. Jen Brewer, right there on Facebook, and I keep doing my touch screen and changing my thing. Come find me there. Don't come find me on anything else. Just Jen Brewer at Facebook, and it's the same profile pic as what's here on TikTok. Fuzzy hair right there. Ask me to join, and then I'll join you. I have to go through this step like I got 3 people right now. Looks like two of them, because one of them's a car guy. So I got 2 people that want to join. So I have to talk to them first, and I have to say, great. Looks like one person asked on January 3rd, and then, I don't know, sometimes they bury these requests. I'll do it. But I have to talk to them first. So if I don't reply to you, harass me, keep asking, because it looks like this person asked me on January 3rd, and I never replied. That is not like me. I don't want to show her the name, but she asked on January 3rd, and then again tonight at 7 something, which is really crazy because I go through these every day, and it tells me how many I have. And one of them's a car guy. So she wasn't there before. I don't know why. But anyway. Then I got to go into my little groupie group. And then I got to find you again. And I go up here. And then I hit add. And then I go find you and add you. but it's a manual process, which is a pain in the butt. I really want, and plus I miss people, obviously. So I want to put a chat room on my website that is just as good as Messenger, or find a way to put Messenger on it that people can join, but I want it more automated where everybody can just join. Just let them join. I don't need to be a gatekeeper or prevent people from joining. They should be able to find me and join in, but you know, I'm pretty tech savvy, but sometimes these things are crazy. Look at all the hats. These are beautiful hats on her profile picture. Okay. I got her adding. I got one adding. So we'll work on that. Sometimes it stalls like this for no reason. I don't know why, but it's a process. Keep harassing me. I don't think I miss very many. I add everybody. There's no restrictions. Just need to get in touch with me at Jen Brewer on Messenger, and I will definitely add you. Just no spamming, of course, and don't bring a bunch of stuff like candles to sell or something. We're busy. We are working away on stuff. I don't want it, I don't know. I don't mind other people selling stuff, but I don't want it to become foolishness, all kinds of craziness, All right, and that form that I sell, the one where everybody lets me know what was on the exam, I give out grants for free notes from my CPT book off the proceeds from that particular item I sell, since it's joint effort item that I'm selling. Everybody pitches in and tells me what was on their exam, and then I return that back to the group. We'll either buy people CPT or HitPix books, or we'll give out sections of my notes if they want them, or I'll give out free tutoring. I've already given away 1 free tutoring and 3 sections of the my notes to somebody who needed them for sure. So if you know anybody in need, be sure and let me know too. And see, I get these errors. Something went wrong. Ugh. So it's a process sometimes to get you added, but I do my best. Let's see if she added. Yep, she added. You're there. So whoever, I can say the first name, I think. Sandra, with her beautiful hats as her profile pic. Welcome. She is in our group now. And yes, I have a big old whale water theme right now going on in our chat room so that we keep swimming. Keep swimming. Keep going to pass the CPC exam. What I like to teach is the process of elimination, getting rid of answers that are obviously going to be wrong. AAPC does have, and so does CCA and CCS, have a pattern of giving you 2 answers that are garbage and 2 answers that are going to be so similar. Or there's a difference between those 2 codes that's associated with a guideline for some reason that they want to know if you know the difference. Like if it's a parenthetical that says you can't add that one with that one, or if in CPT, you'll have a set of codes and you'll code them, and then you'll have some paragraph words telling you about the section that you're fixing to come up next, and then you'll have another list of codes for another body section or another type of surgery. Well, sometimes in those little paragraphs or notes that are in between all those codes, they'll tell you something slick like code 11358 through 79 include fluoroscope or guidance. So they don't tell you at the CPT code level, but they tell you in some paragraph in a book that includes radiology. So when you go to the code and you're looking at answers to see which answer is correct, the question may say, yes, we added radiology guidance to this exam for this patient. And the question is the difference between that code with the 77 code or that code by itself. If you don't take that information from those little paragraphs and move it to the actual CPT code, you might miss that because there's no way you can remember what every CPT code in that book includes radiology, especially if it's not written in the descriptor for the CPT code. So my notes help I move all that data to the codes, but I also teach you where to find that information during my lives and tell you which codes to go write something beside those codes so that you know that radiology is already included. You can make your own notes about it. That's another thing that I like to teach. I also like to teach recognizing coding irregularities like modifier 91 with an E&M code. Things like that will pop up on the exam, and if you know that that code will not go with an E&M code, then you can automatically get rid of that as a possible answer. It brings up your likelihood of getting a correct answer and your percentages way on up there. Let me check some more on the chat here during the live. You got a snowstorm, MK. I hope it's recording too, MK, and I hope your headache gets better and the snowstorm ends up not being so bad. My son had a headache last night. Poor thing was born blind and deaf, just about, literally, and it's been 12 months since his last prescription. He can't go 2 years without a new prescription like most people can. So it's been 13 months, and I can't get him into the eye doctor till Thursday. But he's already getting headaches from his prescription's too old already. Bless his heart. Headaches are the worst. I found you and I'm requesting to join now. Yay, good. I hope I got you in there. If not, I got one more pending and I'll get you in as soon as I'm done with this. All right. Okay. She's already answering. C. Somebody is on top. Hey, Jen, this question was on my exam. No way, Beth. That one exam question... What PHI? What is PHI? I would have thought they would have written the exam question more difficult for the exam, like which one of these examples is an example of, a PHI infraction or something. But they really put that simple little question on the exam. Ooh, I'm going to add this to my list of questions. And put them on what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. Thank you so much, Beth, for coming in and jumping in. I really hope you pass. She does so well in tutoring. I can't find a question that she doesn't already know the answer to in like 15 seconds. I have to get a list of 50 questions for her to do in 1 hour because she's so fast. And I might catch her on one question every now and then again, and she just truly believes she did not pass, but I think she did just really well. Thank you for that info, Beth. You are awesome. I love the well. All right. QQ, you remind me of that I need to eat a cucumber today. Cardiology section has lots of those supervisions and interpretation codes. You know what I bought today? I bought AAPC's cardiology specialty exam questions. I also did ER and OB and delivery because I want more questions in those sections. And I just thought that would be a great way to go there and get those. I also got the risk adjustment, the COC. Yeah, I'm just going to end up with a bunch of questions from them for sure. Yep, C is the answer. C is the answer. I can only hope I pass, but I don't feel it. You know, I'm the same way, Beth, and we're both clinical. So when I feel good about an exam and think I passed, I don't. I can walk out of an exam and know I passed. I knew everything on it and get the score and it's like 67 or some crap. And I'm like, what the hell? What did I miss? I have no idea. I know I did well on that exam. But the ones that I don't think I do well on and I know I failed on, somehow or another I miraculously passed. I walked into a cardiology office one day and I was applying for a job. The hospital I worked at in Memphis, Tenet Hospital, closed. And so we were given a huge severance package. I wasn't worried about it. And during my last days, lunch break, I went to a cardiology office to apply. I'd never worked cardiology. My practice was OB and delivery at the hospital. And I walked in and they said, oh, you know about cardiology? Yep. Know all about it. Yep. Have you done any halters? Yep. Well, great. We have one. We can't get it to print the results. And I immediately think, great. Somebody has worn a Holter monitor for 30 days and their cardiologist needs this thing to print out. And I don't know what I'm doing. I've never even seen one. I don't even think we had one in school when I was learning to practice on. And I'm fixing to go back here and fiddle around with this thing and see if I can't get it to print out. It's 30 days worth of patients' records. And I did. And I got the job, but then the doctor at that cardiology office was fired. That was a whole situation, but I didn't take the job before the doctor had gotten fired, so thank goodness. I was still weighing my options on what I was doing, but I ended up printing out that whole Holter monitor thing, and I knew I was just about to lose all that woman's 30 days worth of her stuff, and then she was going to die because I didn't print out her records in time, and she had to wear it again another 30 days. And, you know, all my brain was going like crazy. Have faith in yourself is the hardest thing to do. Absolutely. But, yeah, I got that thing to print. I don't know how. Okay, just joined today. Hey, Taco Tasha. Now you're talking. I had tacos yesterday. I'll DoorDash them in the middle of the Arizona desert out here. Pay a crazy fine fee for whatever, but I want a taco. And I don't want it from Taco Bell's. I want it from the real place. So I love your name. I know she passed. There's no way she didn't pass. I don't know. Beth, I'm a guest educator for AAPC, so I want to, and you know, they want me and keep bugging me to come into their system, but you have to pay $3,000 a year to have access to all their exam questions, and I'm not quite sure I want to do all that yet and be required to work out of their system. I like to make up my own education around their questions, but I don't want to use their system to create my classroom education, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a good question. I'll find out. I know, Arma. But you haven't seen Beth in tutoring, let me tell you. And I work hard to try to find questions that'll just stomp somebody and to teach somebody something, because they're unique questions that are tied to a guideline that might be important for the exam where they're trying to trip you up on some reason. But I can't trip her up. She knew all the answers. Okay, I got through all of the chat. This question was on our exam. We obviously know the answer is C. Yep. I put questions in here with the E&M that I was asked to do today with some anatomy. I was asked anatomy and E&M, and I put some guideline information or legislative law stuff that might pop up because I don't do enough of these either. So, what's not included in a surgical package? What would you do with this question? For process of elimination, they all start with a different letter, right? We have evaluating, returning, E&M, and typical. We definitely know it's not going to be typical, right? Anything that is typically post-operative is going to be included. It's really hard sometimes to do the ones that are not because you're looking for the ones that are, if that makes any sense. But you're looking for what's not included in a surgical global package. So we're talking about your 90-day or something around there. Some post-operative periods can be 1 to 10 days. So it could be any of those, but typical post-operative follow-up, we could definitely eliminate that. What does anybody think? C. Everybody likes C again? Yeah. Returning to the operating room the next day for any complications, obviously. Yep. Perfect. Hey, Stephanie. How's it going? Here's another one. And I left them in the correct order today, like they would be for the exam. I could probably get rid of this, though. Hold on. Let me get rid of this thing so you don't have to stare at that all the time. Let's see. What do? I click. No. Maybe I can't. I was trying to. Oh well. All right. Which statement is true this time? So look for one that is not true. What's true about morbidity? So morbidity is only chapter 20. Chapter 20 of your ICD-10 book. But it's also an external cause chapter. Yep. Hey, Lay. Yep, D's your answer. D's your answer. All right, we got some E&Ms. E&Ms, and they're in just a regular order, so don't be looking at the question. Y'all go straight to the answers. We're looking at new patient or established patient, right? That's all we need to know first off, right? So first off, is she new or established? Turn this so it's, is she new or established? Don't be reading the question. Is she new or established? Yep. We're just skimming and we can see that she's returning. So that will eliminate the new codes. So it's between 11 and 12. Very good, Kim. So is she an 11 or 12? Everybody's saying nurse visit. Yep, she is. She did not see the doctor, and she is just a nurse visit. That's all. And if you don't know that this word is tied to this area, go write it in the beginning of your female reproductive section, because that comes up. Hey, Brendan. All right, here is critical care for a baby. We've got a 20-day-old going to NICU. So what are you going to code? Where are the NICU codes? Which one would it be? Process of elimination. You've got 2 6s. Could probably get rid of the 91. We know that's going to be for an adult, right? And the 71, right? So between those, perfect. Good job, MK. Perfect. Where are the babies located? Yep, the babies are located at the 68. You don't even have to read the question. All you needed was a baby's age, right? That's all you needed. You didn't need to know why was going on, what else was going on, what tests were done. You didn't need to know anything but the baby's age. That's all you need for those CPT codes. Go to my NICU. All of our baby critical care, and we're talking anybody 5 years, I think, and younger. They do not get the 91 critical care service, right? They have their own special NICU area over here in our books somewhere. Yep, right here. And all you got to do is look up a baby's age. So you've got 28 days or younger, and then you have 29 days to 2 years old. And then you have, those are the initials, and this is the subsequent. So these two go together. So for this year, I'm doing a bracket around these two because they go together. And then I would bracket these two together because they're by age for those two. One's initial, one's subsequent. Then you've got your peds down here from 2 to 5. One's initial, one's subsequent. And they're only divided by age. And if you look at your exam, the exam has you picking out the right code for the answer. So if you look at the codes to tell you what you need to know is the difference so that you could pick the right answer and go at it, this exam, from the code's point of view, all you needed to know was the kid's age to tell you which one of these codes is the correct one. We know we're in the right section because we know this is all NICU. These are the only NICUs. And the only information that is different from all these CPT codes is just an age. So, instead of examining these questions by reading word for word everything that's in it, eliminating what you don't need to read and keeping it simple, I only needed to know an age to be able to pick out the right answer and then move on. That will help you more than anything else you've ever seen on the internet about any of these questions. Promise. You don't need to read these from beginning to end. You just need to eliminate codes that are not numerically alike like the other codes and start with only your very first code. And then look at those differences between those two codes. Find out from the code what you need to know to make a difference so that you can pick out the right answer. And for these particular codes, it's just an age. That's all it is. It's just an age. So, perfect. I hope that explanation helps. I know it's crazy sounding, but This is the best way to eliminate any propaganda in these questions that will direct you to the wrong answer. Plus, it's faster, it's more efficient. You can get done in 30 seconds versus 3 minutes or more trying to negotiate or negate or look up all those codes. We didn't have to look up this code, and we didn't have to look up all these other codes or worry about modifiers or anything. We only went by the very first code since it's different in all the answers. Anyway, A is our answer. Here is another one. Another E&M. So for process of elimination, we need to know the differences between the 21 and the 31 first off, because we have 2 of the 20s and 2 of the 30s. So we need to do that first. So the difference is, I think the 21 is what, inpatient? Isn't that normal, inpatient? And what's the difference between that and our 31? Is that consult or something? 99291. Admit. So our 99221 is did I lose that page? Yep. Initial hospital care is our 2-1. Our 3-1 is subsequent. Okay. Easy peasy. Subsequent or initial. So that's handy dandy. So what are we doing with this patient? We're going to look sort of from the bottom. We're ordering some crap. Looks like she's been in for 2 days, huh? Been in the hospital for the last 2 days. So we know we're doing subsequent something, right? So difference between the initial and it's definitely not going to be anything initial. And our MDM is low. Our MDM is low. You know that 34 is just escalating the level of the visit, right? And if you're already at a low, you don't need to escalate anything. It will be the first number, right? So we know A is going to be the right answer, and we can move on to our next question. So we definitely wouldn't be coding a 34 for a low when we have a 31 there. All right, we got a longer one here. E&M again. Neonatal. We've got baby stuff going on. But for the process of elimination, which one are you going to get rid of here? We're only looking at the very first code. So the one that is different is the 68. Yep. Very good, guys. Perfect. We'll get rid of that C. We know the first code is going to be this. We need to know, and you can already bet that the second code is what I'd look up next, and we have 2 that match. The 68 match, so that would make me get rid of B too, because B is not like the other. The difference, and they want to know if we can bill this and this with these 2 E&Ms, right? Because both of these are E&Ms, the 65 and the 68 we just dealt with. This one was NICU, right? So what's our 65? Our 99465? What's going on with that code? And can you bill? And they have it. down as 2 E&Ms without a modifier. Kind of interesting question there. But neither answer have a modifier. 99. So 99465. So we're under the birthing center right here with these two codes. These were on my CPC exam back in the day when I took them. They haven't rewritten this question. It's been on mine and a lot of people's questions. So what the difference is this code for the 6-4 means that we know we have a baby who's going to come out not breathing. So we've asked NICU to come into the delivery room before the baby's born and be on standby and ready to take this baby up to NICU as soon as they get here. The difference from this one, the 6-5, which is on our question, is that mom delivers a baby, baby comes out blue, and we need NICU down here to get it breathing. So that's our difference. We are using this. And this code can be coded with your baby NICU code without a modifier because of the guideline and rules that are over here on these other pages beforehand. Whoever writes all these rules about all this stuff says that we can have this code with the NICU. So what happens is baby comes out blue, crap, we need NICU to come down and make this baby breathe. They rush down. They start an umbilical cord line so that they can get fluids to that baby quickly. They won't go in and do, you know, a venipuncture like normal. They'll just hook on up to where the mom was hooked up at. And then they'll also intubate that baby and get them breathing support. Then they're going to rush them up to NICU. They get to bill for both of those at the same time, and that is fine, and no modifier is needed. We're definitely going to be doing our 68. Now, the difference when we're doing critical care and somebody comes into the ER and they crash and need CPR and all that stuff that comes along with critical care, you don't code a lot of things like EKGs, crash carts, and all that stuff with any of this critical care. But babies, anybody younger than 5, you do get to add some extra codes in. Unlike regular adult critical care, here this covers pretty much everything they're doing to keep that patient and get them stable enough to go to surgery or something. But on page, and I talked about it in my last live, if you go to page, where is it, guys? 50, 60, something. Oh yeah, it's in between these two. 57, if you're in the 2021 book. There's a list of procedures here and on the top page of 58 that you're able to bill with your NICU babies and any of those children to 5 years old if you saw them in some sort of emergent issue. The umbilical cord venous catheter is there, which is that 10 code, which is there as a possible code. So is your airway. Where's your airway? Right up here. 00. Right there. Your endotracheal intubation is there too, that 31500. So you get to bill all 4 of these at the same time. And look what's down there. Our lovely little modifier. So even not knowing anything other than, you know, if you're doing 2 E&Ms and you know you need to do the 25 modifier for our additional E&Ms, and you didn't know anything else, whether you could use this or any of these other things, you could pick out your answer pretty fast if, I'm going to erase all this, if you knew anything about E&M and where you were. So even if you were looking at this lovely long question and you got down to the answer, you see that you're in 2 E&Ms. Well, the only answer with a modifier 25 on it is your bottom one, number 1. So you could pick out this answer without even reading a question, just by knowing that if you have 2 E&M codes that are in the front of the book for office visits, inpatient hospital, critical care, anything like that, except for the adult critical care. But this child critical care, you needed to have that modifier, and it's there. You could have picked out D right away and moved on with the question. You didn't even need to do the process of elimination where you're eliminating these codes because they were different from the other ones. But also, now you know that on page 57 and 58, you've got a list of codes there from other sections of the book that you can code with these codes. And anytime you're in NICU and we've got neonate who needed resuscitation. What else did they do? They did an umbilical line for fluids. Yep, and rushed them on up to the baby unit. You can bill for all 4 of those happily. Oh, good. I'm glad. I hope that helps. No, it will not be 59 in 2022. The 59 is absolutely the most misused modifier and will get you tons of denials in real life coding. 59 was never intended to be used as much as I see it come up in the CPC exam. When you're working in the real world, it'll be a lot different, and that's okay. You're not going to be inventing a new wheel or having to discover anything. They'll have policies and procedures in place, but I will tell you, with all the health plans and Medicare, 59 is the most misused and will get you more denies than anything else. Before you use that code, look very carefully through your list of modifiers that are available, the complete list that is in the HitPix book, which I'd have to guess there's got to be 50 or more modifiers, because the CPT book does not include all of them. There's a lot more of them. There's a lot of modifiers. If any of those codes will complete your story and tell the insurance company what's going on with that procedure, whether you had to reduce it, stop it, discontinue it, doubled it, tripled it, whatever. If there's another modifier that will tell that story without having to use 59, then use that other modifier. That is your guideline. It's in the modifier guideline section that 59 is the last resort, but it seems to be used quite a bit in the CPC exam questions. I don't know why, but it will get you a ton of denials and backtracking work if you're doing it in a real office setting. Here's some anatomy questions. So, where is a blowout fracture? Where is that? So to join my chat group, please come find me at Jen Brewer on Messenger. Yeah, it's Facebook Messenger. You don't have to have Facebook attached to it. You can create your own new Messenger account too. You can create new ones if you want to. Like, I think I could go down here and create a new one if I wanted to. Manage accounts is where you can go and add a new one. You can create a new one. If you don't want me attached to your personal account, you can create a new one. But only come find me at Jen Brewer. It is my personal account, but it's the only one attached to my chat room for some reason. I did try to create one like Coding by Jen, but it won't let me add anybody into the group. I think I made the group before I made the messenger. I don't know. Anyway, the messenger group is called Coding by Jen Study Group. If you can find it and request, I do have an option where member requests are right there where people can request, but I never have anybody request. I don't know why. But don't find my Coding by Jen messenger thing, not the group. The messenger that I set up, it just doesn't work. I don't know why. So I have this, if I can get it to come up. It's so slow. But don't come find me at that chat with the heart bubble. Don't come find me there. Only find me with the fuzzy hair, please. Yeah, it's stalled. But just come find me. Same profile pic as here on TikTok. Super helpful. Yes, y'all still might be pending. I have in the middle of this live, if you've asked during this live, then yes, you're still pending. I can't do two things at one time. I'm just incapable of it. But if you've asked a day or two ago, then bug me again. Make sure you asked at the Jen Brewer account, not the Coding by Jen account. Make sure you asked at Jen Brewer, and if you did, message me again. But if you asked during the live, I can't do two things at one time. I just can't. A lot of times I can multitask, but the internet is just, you see it's still sitting here pending. But yes, please ask again if I missed you or something happened. There we go. Blowout is in orbit. It is A. Anybody know what metro or meta means? Metro? Which one is that? Menstruation, breast, mammoth, uterus. Yep. What services are covered by Part B? Which one? Is it chemo, minor surgery, dental care, or assisted living? Great. Everybody's got B. Yes, B is the answer. Okay. Another E&M, big old long one, but let's go down here to the bottom. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with an established patient, okay? So we need to pick out a level for them. So first things first, look for a time and look for MDM. If you don't have either one of those, then you're going to have to go by disease processes. Is it chronic? Is it acute? Is it even an illness, or is it just an issue? If it's a chronic illness, is it exacerbated? Was there prescription management? Was there test ordered? How would you level this visit? I'm not going to give you any hints. I had to reboot my phone. It is just not happy. Reboot. Everybody's going to give it a 214. She's not circling the drain. Somebody's been listening to my voice. Not circling the drain. Okay, but why isn't she a low? We got arthritis. Isn't arthritis? Can't that be low? I mean, is that really a big deal? Or is it exasperated? Is that what y'all are saying? She got med management, so I would say 214. She had something going on with her elbow too, over here. Dirty Red, good to see you. Good to see you. Who is that? Shell, good to see you, girl. I hope you're doing okay. Very good. I was trying to distract y'all and get y'all to lower the code, but you did very well. That is absolutely a B. Very good. Good job. All of you should be very, very proud. Excellent. As the camera slips around. Good job. All right, another anatomy. And I do have some updates from Beth after all of this. When the patient has a fractured proximal end of the humerus, where's the fracture located? Is at the upper end of the arm, lower end of the arm, upper end of the leg, or lower end of the leg? I've not ever shared this exam question with you. Now I'm getting some different opinions. That's great. I got D and I have an A. Are we on the lower end? Where's the proximal? To find your codes in musculoskeletal, some of those CPT codes, y'all, are in different sections of the book. Like 23440, and then there'll be a 21432. Both of them are fractures of the humerus, but one of them is on the proximal end of the bone, and one of them will be on the distal end of the bone. If you don't know common terms like upper end of the arm, that's what's going to be in your question. They might tell you proximal or distal or shaft, but it could be unlikely that they actually give you the real term that's in the CPT code. They could actually give you just upper end of the arm. Then you got to go pick which CPT code is the proximal end or distal end. So then you got to go pick which CPT code is the proximal end or distal end. So if you are not 100% sure of where those are in the body, you need to work on it. Make sure you know that. So what I did on my little Skeletor here is I wrote distal end of my femur and then the neck end of my femur. I should go in for 2022 notes and add proximal and distal ends for all my arm bones for a better anatomy notes for next year. Definitely going to need to do that. And sometimes just knowing like a type 3A tibia fracture, where that would be located, because there's a type 1, there's a type Z, there's a type all kinds of weird fractures. Just knowing where the fractures are located would help you out too. But I have some work to do on my notes on this particular section too for next year. But very good, guys. The answer is A. So be sure you know the differences and know that the fractures of all these bones can be separated. Just because you found a fracture of a humerus on the right arm, on the right leg, or whatever, doesn't mean you found the right CPT code. You need to make sure you're at the right proximal, distal, or shaft end. There's 3 things you need to match when you're doing word matching on fractions, unless it's an ORIF fracture, because there's only one code for that one. But anyway, all the other ones, we definitely have 3 things to match. You need to know right or left. You need to know, of course, the bone. And then you need to know which end. Proximal, distal, shaft, those kinds of things. 3 things you need to know before you pick your CPT code. Don't just match one word and move on. Learn the hard way on that one. Okay. Next one for anatomy. What's an AKA for reduction? And if you've been part of my chat group or seen any of my repeat lives, y'all are going to know this one. Very good. Very good. I hope you're doing okay, Shell. I miss seeing you around. It's good to see you. Who is that? How do I... Thomas. K. Thomas. Nice to see you. Dirty Red. Kimberly. Yep. Martza. Yep. I have tutoring with 2 people tomorrow. Is Jen there? I have Jen again. I can't remember what was supposed to prepare for you tomorrow. So if I'm tutoring for you tomorrow, anybody here is Jen, let me know what I was supposed to do, because I went to Phoenix and completely forgot what I was supposed to be doing. So I need to know that, and I talked to my other girl. I've got a new one I'm tutoring tomorrow. I think it starts with a T. Remember, but I've got her going. I got hers ready. I just need to do Jen's. So I've got 2 people I'm tutoring tomorrow. Getting back into that. I haven't done it in forever because I went to Phoenix. So I think Wednesday was my last day. I did tutoring last week. So just trying to make sure I get everybody. Nessa, Miss Edwards. Yes, doing her tomorrow. And then I've got Jen. Another Jen. So I still have requests from a Katrina and a Sandra. I got you, but I need Maya. I need to do Maya too. So I got 2 more, Maya and Katrina, that I need to add into chat group. If you're not those 2 people and you're still not in, let me know. Keep messaging me. Okay. Another anatomy one. Thoracentesis. We're removing fluid or air from lung, chest, thoracic, or heart. What does this prefix tell you you're at? Hey, Miss Scorpio. Oh my gosh, my firstborn is a Scorpio. You do not want to mess with a Scorpio. They're very pleasant. And when they do speak, It's for purpose. There's a reason for it. So my Scorpio is a very Scorpio person. There is no useless chatter in his daily life ever. And he sits back and watches and observes a lot. And he will never, ever, ever, ever strike out unless very forcefully forced to. Absolutely. Then game's over with. Game's over with. You're not going to win. I love Scorpios. They're my absolute favorite. Anyway, sorry. I get to chattering on. To join my chat group, ask me at Jen Brewer. Come find me on Messenger at this name, Jen Brewer. It's the same profile pic as Heroes on TikTok. So fuzzy hair with a bunch of kids. Please message me there and tell me you want to join. I'll message you back. Then magic happens and I can add you into my group. We have to talk before I can add you. So whatever that is, I have to do that. So message me at Jen Brewer on Facebook Messenger. Y'all sure the answer isn't C, since it starts out with Thora too? Thora? Scorpio team. Dirty Red. Nope. I can't trick y'all for nothing in the world. It is B. B is the answer. But you see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to say Thora and thoracic are the same things. So they're trying to trick you with some propaganda there. Ignore it. All right. So this is one of the questions that was on, I think. Wait a minute. Let me look. Is it? No. Okay, I have some questions coming up really soon that were on the CPC exam. Oh my gosh, my best exam on Saturday, coming up really soon. I thought this one could be one of the ones that she might have been talking about, may have been on the exam. I have not read word for word what she said to me yet because I got to go look up all the codes that she gave me. But I added this one tonight because I think it's important. If you're in the 2021 CPT book, let's see, I want you to go, we're going to lab and path, and I want you to go to a difficult one to find because they're out of sequence. But go to page 590 if you're in the 2021 book. And what code I'm looking for if you're in the 2022 book is going to be the 80307 code. There's 3 here in a row. And then I want to teach y'all a little bit about something. The lab and path section are super complicated, not because of what is happening in the code, but it's how the test is done. Some tests are done by just looking with your eyes. Some tests are dipping into a chemical, looking for a chemical reaction, and then noting with your eyes still a chemical reaction and color change. And then another way to do the same test again is to have a computer or some sort of machine analyze it for you and tell you what colors it is. So these 3 codes in the lab represent the lab section very well, because a lot of times in the CPC exam, when they're asking you which answer is correct for a certain scenario, they have buried inside that scenario one word that could mean the difference between all these codes. Meaning they might just say the dipstick, or they might just say immunoassay, like it's an essay, or an enzyme, or they might say that they used a graphy to analyze this, or they might even just say they use an analyzer. Well, all those terms can be found in these descriptors, but there's a lot of the words. The AKAs are in the quotes, so anytime you see a quote right here, those C and the reverse C, pay attention to those. For this year, we need to be highlighting those instead of what comes after whatever semicolon and all that stuff. This is helpful. These AKAs are more helpful than what's after the semicolon. So this question is going to have a dipstick in it. Okay, that's helpful to know because it's a visual. Also, you can still use a dipstick though, but you can have an instrument read it for you, right? And then you can do some chemistry, like mixing some a few drops of this. A lot of y'all have been doing probably at home COVID test where you add the drops of things to produce a result. That would sort of come and play with this chemistry. There's going to be some drops involved, but also a machine is going to tell you the answer. So the differences in these is key, and I don't have the information here that we need to have here. I need to have dipstick visual. I need to have dipstick instrument. And then I also need to have analyzer written right here. I'll let you know in just a second, Miss Dirty Red. So that's super helpful, knowing those differences right there. And it's a really good representation of how the entire lab and path section is. Some things are definitive drug tests, some things are therapeutic, some things are done by an assay or an enzyme, some things are nucleic acid test, and some things are all named the same thing. I want you to do this test, but there'll be a buried word that'll say that it is done by an instrument or by chemistry. So you need to get really good at looking for the words that will define the differences in those kind of things. So as soon as I see these 303 codes, I know that's what I'm dealing with, but we'll do the process of elimination first. So keep in mind, process of elimination always goes first before we look at any of the questions or anything else. This is going to save you time during the exam. So we have two that are the same, the fives. We are going to keep B and C. We're going to get rid of D and A simply because the first CPT codes are different than the first. Now, if you know anything about these CPT codes and what you can multiply times 2 with, if you know your guidelines and what you're looking at, you know that only the codes with the plus symbol in front of them are the ones that you do times 2. So looking for coding irregularities, the other things that I'm trying to teach you to do, you can do this question without even having to look at the question one little bitty bit, because you know you don't do the 30305 times 2 because it's not an add-on code. Now, if you didn't know which answer was correct, and you needed to find some terms to make you feel better about it, we've got our dipstick, of course. But because he ordered a to get it confirmed, not just by the visual, then we added in, that's why we did the 205, right? The 205? Irregardless. You didn't need to go look up the alcohol or the benzos, which is like your Xanax and things. You didn't have to look up the amino assay, anything like that. You can do these without even reading any of the question at all by just doing the process of elimination and then looking for coding irregularities. Super fun example right there. Page 307, report only 2. What is 307? Is 307? Oh, 307, the code. Okay. This one is for analyzers and immunoassays. You're going to actually put this in a machine, and the machine is going to do it. It's a whole chemistry analysis. This does not say anything about a chemistry analysis. This is just a dipstick and a visual read. So that's all you're doing with the 05 at all. If it was 06, it would say the word. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Instrument. It's going to say the word instrument. Instrument guidance or, and I know it says utilizing an immunoassay, but this is a urine dipsticks that says, yeah, that goes with the dipstick. That doesn't go with the other thing. This is actually putting the dipstick after you've stuck it in the urine and putting it in a machine, and then the machine is going to print out the result, is the 6. The visual read is the only one. And the one that you do the confirmation test is going to be bagging up the rest of that urine. You're going to send it to LabCorp. They're going to build their own test, and they're going to use the chemistry analyzer, that 07, and they're going to build the 07, the 307, at LabCorp. They're going to build that. We can't bill it unless we're going to do it. But this is going to go out to be performed by the lab. So we're not a lab. Is that helpful? You're welcome. Visual only. You tell me. What is visual? A dipstick that is visual. That's all this is a dipstick that is visual. What item has the time stuff on it? Teresa, do you mean the stuff that has been on the exam for the last 45, 60 days? Is that what you mean? Let me know. The name of that one, if it's that, is called, starts out what has been on the CPC exam in the last 45 days. The codes that have the X on them. Oh, huh? What Etsy item has the time stuff on it? All my sections do. So, for my 2022, I'm super hyper focused on that to make sure that people get that. So anything that's got 2022 on it is going to have like major explanations about the, I'm showing you right here, the times. So my 2022 notes will start out, this is in Tigmentary, so it'll say do not use modifier 50 or 51 with the add-on codes. And then beside every one of the add-on codes is going to be a times, plus at the top of pages it's going to say plus equals times, no modifier 50 or 51. So anything with that means that that is a times. And if you ever see an answer on the CPC exam that starts out with the plus code and there's no other code with it and it's all by itself and they want to know what the answer is, it's never going to be just that code, ever. You can eliminate that one because this code has to go with that code. Always. You have to have this one with this one. You can't do that one by itself. You can do this one by itself, but you cannot do that one by itself. Thank y'all for the roses. So sweet. Yay. Hey, Allie. How's it going? Our pink hat lady, she is in our group. I hope she's having fun. She just recently joined our chat group, study group, for short. All right. Let's see. What next question do I have? Another E&M. Are y'all tired of E&M yet? No. Nobody's ever tired of E&M because we need to know more about it. So we've got circling the drain, ready to go meet their maker, or they got a lot of stuff going on that's exasperated. So we first need to find that out. But a helpful tip is when you see a 17 code with the 14 code, is that a coding irregularity? Hey, Mom, how's it going? Not my mom, but somebody's mom. My mom's here, too. She's watching my boys for me. But we've got a new mom in here. And one thing I can tell you right now, this is a prolonged service code. And it can never go with the 14 because if you're doing E&M by time, you can't prolong a service that hasn't extended out to the most length of time of service of that coding scenario. So 14 will never, ever be coded with a 14 and a 17. We ain't never going to have it. It's just not, it's not going to happen. You need to get to the 54 minutes that a 215 is. So if you go to 99215 right now, you only look at the time that is listed in that descriptor for that CPT code, you will see that it is 54 minutes. If you look at the 214, you'll see that it's like 43 to something, I don't know. But it's underneath the 15. So the 17 is for prolonged services. So if your patient is there forever and they don't leave and they're in that room all afternoon with the doctor, you need to go through all the levels of the E&Ms and get to the highest code before you start adding on other minutes. So number one rule, you can always go right beside that 14, the 214. Do not add the 414, and if you will notice in the 215, you're going to have a parenthetical note that will direct you to absolutely use the 99417 with the 99215. It's there in writing telling you to use
Do
it.
you know what kind of jeans those are?
Those look like Star Wars jeans.
Well, what do you call
Don't they?
them? I don't know what kind of jeans they are. Like
Biker? Because they absorb some sort of shock. Okay, hold on. I'll ask girls on internet. You know, these girls are more fashionable than I am. I don't even paint my nails, or I cut my own hair. I do my own eyebrows. Oh my gosh, I'm awful. But what kind of genes would you guys say those are? If you needed to look those up, what kind of genes would that be? What do you call that? Any Posh girls in here that sell on Posh? I do have a Poshmark store and a McCary store, by the way. But does anybody know what kind of genes those are? How would you look up more versions of those? Emo? That describes my child to a T. Yeah. Emo genes. Like, they look like they got biker, like, extra padding in them for, like, if you fall off a motorcycle. Stop. In my days, those were called parachute pants. Okay. Distressed. Ooh, I love that word. So, D-I-S-T-R-E.
Distressed.
But that's not, I don't know. Parachute pants, distressed. Okay. All right, sorry. I get interrupted for the craziest things, but this is important to me. Sitting here stressing over it. Okay. So that is a coding irregularity. So then that leaves me with 2 15s. So, you know, this person might be circling the drain, huh? Let's see. Oh, thank you for the balloons. That is cool. They got all kinds of neat little things here. Okay. So, oh God, we got a liver transplant and cirrhosis pre-op. Are they going to die without a liver transplant? Yeah. So, let's get rid of 14. Plus, I was already leaning that way because I knew I could get rid of that other 14. And I know they want to know the differences between these two codes. Right here, my time is 60 minutes. I know that the 215 is up to 54 or something like that minutes, right? And if I needed to add more minutes, I know my only code can be 17. Yeah, y'all are probably waiting on me, but D is absolutely the answer. I know. I'm circling like crazy. But don't forget, guys, that during your CPC exam, even if you take it in person, let me see. No, where's the draw? Even if you take it in person, you can do, or online, even if you take it online, at home, from your computer, you can do the same. Just get you a dry eraser marker, generic, 99-cent store. Have your kid bring one home from school. It don't matter. But you can absolutely come through here and write on your computer screen just as well and block out the 2. And then you can come here and go, yep, liver transplant. He's circling the drain, right? We know that we're going to use B, and you can do that all day long. You can write on your screen just like you can if you had paper in in-person exam, and then it just wipes away. Super easy, and then move on to your next question. They can't tell you can't write on your own computer screen. So this will absolutely work and help you, because there's nothing worse than going and looking through the process of elimination, working through this, then you find 2 codes you want to go look up. What if we wanted to go look up that 17 and the 56? They're in totally complete different pages of the book. And you go to those 2 codes and come look back at your question, but you don't have anything marked out. It's unhelpful. It's more helpful to go on and cross things out so that they're out of your way. When you come back, you've got 2 codes that you needed to look up, and I know this is prolonged, and I don't even know what this is, but it's whatever. And then you've got 2 words, 2 codes that you can keep yourself organized, and then you can move on to your next question. I like drawing out answers and getting them out of my way, because my attention span is like a hummingbird. As y'all can tell, I can get distracted very easily and keep running on. I like to get rid of distractions. So you can use a dry erase board online. I don't know what for, but I like drawing on my screen, wiping it off, and going to the next question. And I have to do one question at a time. I did one on a recent TikTok where we went through AAPCs. We did a whole practice exam during the live, 50 questions. And you know, I went through one and skipped one because I wanted to do, because we were in the medicine section. And the next question after the next one was in the medicine section. And then I was going to go back up and do the one that I skipped because it was in E&M. And I forgot about it and went on and hit grade, and we missed one because of that. So I can never go from one question to another and then skip backwards. I just can't. I got to go one question at a time. So some people like to write down things on a dry erase board to say that I want to go back to question number 13 and look at it later if I have more time, because it was difficult for me. And you could write down question numbers down on a dry erase board, but with the online exam, you can, it's page forward and page back, so you can go back and forward. You can go back to any one you want. You do need to keep up with what, I guess, question it was, but I knew I had a problem with like question 4 on my exam, and I just kept going back to it and kept going back to it, and then I just kept going forward, and I did eventually keep going back to it, and then stopped and just turned in the quiz and whatever. But you pretty much remember which ones were traumatic for you. Those numbers, I don't know, but dry erase board, absolutely you can bring. Yep. You can write on your thing. What are we doing? I've heard, but see, when you take it in person, you don't need a dry erase board because you have a booklet of questions and answers, and you can write all over the booklet. So if you have one that you want to go back to, just circle the number because they're numbered. So just circle question 3, I want to go back to it, and leave all the other ones uncircled. And then as you're flipping through the book to find the ones that you want to go back to, you just find the one you circled. So, yeah, you don't need one for the in-person one because you can write all over your book, the exam question book. So you can write all over it. They'll collect them at the end, but you can write all over it. Did you find more of those jeans?
Yeah, you're right. They're called motorcycle pants.
They're called motorcycle pants. Yeah. Rider pants, something like that. Riders. Okay. What else? Speaking of posh, I added 70 items yesterday. There you go, Teresa. Girl, go for it. Go for it. I hope your Christmas was good. And inventory for that. You know, after you steam them and go on and put them in the little plastic seal them envelopes for them, I would put an address label. It's like 1 inch by 5 inches sticker on it, and put like C1, C2, C3, and then that way I'd have inventory. And I had totes in the garage with labels on them. This is box C, this is box D, this is box E, F, and then each item in there was like C1, C2, C3, and then I just put it on my ad on Posh or McCary, and at the very bottom of the ad it'd say it was in C1 or C2 or whatever, and then that way I could keep up with my inventory where it was, because it was on the ad. So when I go print out the shipping label, I would go to box C because it was right there on that ad where I sold it, and then done it. It's pretty cool. McCary is my favorite though, because you don't have to do all that advertising. But I am an ambassador on Posh because I wore out my thumbs one weekend sharing 10 gazillion other people's stuff and my own. But with McCary, you don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. Plus, it's only like 16% fees on it. But I use it for when I want to go on trips with the boys. So, and it pays for my car tags too. So, like, all those not monthly expenses, but expenses that come up and are like, oh, crap, I got to pay that again. Because car tags are based off the value of your car here in Arizona instead of just one price. Like in Cleveland, it was like $30 a year for car tags. Here, it's based off the value of your car, so it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, that's like my 3-year total. 3 years worth. And I just use that. I don't have anything up on it now at all. I took everything down. And I'm Fruity Pebbles on there, by the way. If you do look. But that 3 years income took James to Disney. And what did we do the previous year? We went to Utah camping. And then the year before that, I paid for glasses for James, 2 frames, and all the car tags for my mom's car too that year. So, and that's just selling stuff that like I get for Christmas and I don't have any real use for, but don't want to take it back because I don't have a receipt, or items the boys wear out. And McCary's really nice because there's 3 days you like it or you don't, and the game is over with. That's it. 3 days and it's done. I don't get any 30-day crap, 90-day, 120-day returns for something. It's just 3 days and you're done, which is wonderful. I loved it. And I haven't posted on it this year at all, but it's a handy dandy little thing, and the customers on there are so nice. They really are. You post your wholly used socks on there. If that's what they want, is wholly used socks, they'll buy it. Just be completely honest with what you have and show all the pictures, dirty or bad or whatever, and they love it. Things like just tops and clothes and stuff, and things that the kids run out of. Even the Happy Meal toys are resellable. Y'all have no idea. But yeah, over like 3 years, 790 pictures. Yeah, I'm getting all distracted, but I can't say enough about Posh. I loved it. It pays for all my stuff that comes up that is a struggle to pay for when it happens, because you don't plan on it. Your old scrubs, Miss Beth, you could sell those. Look at I even sold, yep. There was a glitch at Walmart where Baby Yoda scrubs were $3, with the tag. I don't know why, but they were $3. So I bought them all and sold them for $20 with free shipping. I'm not making a ton, but that's like $10 an item to sell it. And then McCary got their fees for it. And, $10 more than I didn't have last week. So that was great. And it helped me pay for the car tax. So, loved it, loved it.
Yeah, I found the pants, but now can you help me find what kind of... I've been searching for this all my life when I saw this. I don't know what kind of belt that is. What kind of belt... You can't scroll anymore.
Oh.
What kind of belt has...
Red
gold...
bevels.
What?
Red bevels. B-E-V.
And I'm going to find something exactly like it?
Yeah.
Red bevels?
B, like in boy.
Okay.
B-E, and then V for victory.
So red B-E...
Bevels, yeah. Red knots, red buttons, red holes. Yes. Black and red belt. You can simply search for black and red belt.
I've already done that.
Okay. Well, then, spikes, red spikes. Have you done that? Okay, let me finish my life. All right. More anatomy. What do we got? 16-year-old. Laparoscope. Fallopian tubes. Found some cysts. What are those things called? $70 items on Posh is no small feat, too, by the way. All those measurements. pictures and angles. They never are happy with all the measurements. Can you remeasure this? Can you verify it's this measurement? Posh people are picky. I'm like, no. You want it, you got it for that. I'm not remeasuring nothing. It's already in my inventory, taped up and ready to go. Buy it. It's $3. I'm not remeasuring something for $3. No. I noticed that the first and second practice exams are easier. The third is harder. Getting nervous. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. The fifth practice exam, exam F, has different questions on it too, so it's interesting. I use blank loose leaf paper for my in-person exam. Baby, I'll deal with this after the live, honey. It's not urgent that you can't find this belt, okay? Hey, Sherry. How's it going? I'm impressed, Jen. That's awesome. Thanks, Shell. I don't do nothing like, halfway. And, making it work is rough, a lot of times with everything that comes up in life. So you got to prepare. I love to squirrel like a rabbit, or a squirrel like a squirrel, because it's always challenging. And let me tell you, people on McCary are great. And if you got used socks that you're fixing to throw away, somebody will buy those used socks. It don't matter the condition. People repurpose stuff into artwork. You'd be surprised. Snake skins from your snakes. Let me repeat. Yep, the garbage that you clean out of your snake cage, if you happen to have one of those. People will buy those things. It's impressive. We have that lady selling her farts, and she's making $1 billion. Anything in your house, look around you right now. Your used markers, your used toothbrushes. I'm serious about that. Used anything. People will buy. Put it in a bundle. Tell them what it is. Take a picture of it. Put it in inventory and wait for it to sell. It will sell. It is crazy. And that's okay. It gets it out of my house, puts $1 in my pocket, and then I can put it on the mortgage or on braces, or car tags are the devil, or my car repairs. I just spent another $1,500 on that. It's always something. But multiple streams of income are always good, guys. Always good. And McCary takes literally 15 seconds to post a new ad. Simple pictures, simple description, and post it. It's very simple app to use. McCary is super easy, and it has a huge platform. Let me show you how to spell the thing. So, where's my thing? Blue, right there. So you spell it, if it'll focus, there we go, MERCARI. Super easy app. Literally takes you 10 seconds to post a new ad. My son is on it. This is his store. His store is whatever this name is, because I can't even pronounce it. I have no idea. But he sold 293 items too. And he does video games and video game systems. So it's easy to even get your kids into reselling. They can make up to $12,000 a year without having to file taxes. And they can make their own Christmas money and buy you your own Christmas presents without you having to buy it for themselves. They can actually sell old toys. You would not believe what one item from a Monopoly game or a Twiddly Links part, old Nerf guns or the bullets or junk that is just pieces from other things, they will buy off this site. It is the best thing ever. But yes, I even have my kids on here selling stuff for their own income. So, yep. Can't say enough about McCary. It will pay for your school books every year, your CPT book, your ICD-10 book. Yes, ma'am. Get those dirty socks working for you. Your old swimming clothes, your old towels and washcloths, it don't matter. Don't recommend selling dishes, though. Gosh, dog. Those are hard to ship. All right. McCary is what it's called. Yes, very good. Perfect on the spelling. Thank you so much. M-E-R-C-A-R-I. Girls, I have sold 17,000 on Poshmark since 2017. What is that noise? Okay. Cat's coming through the wall. Poshmark is a whole nother category. You got to do a lot of work at first, but you don't have to do a lot of work once you get all those shares in. But I don't know. I'm on Poshmark too, so right there is the stuff that I've sold. But it's not as fun, I don't think. You have to sell. You have to. Some of the stuff is so pretty, but if you go to Goodwill and you go on dollar days and you only get tagged in things like, in this picture I had to set up in my bathroom. My Aunt Debbie painted those pictures, and then if you put a piece of green in your picture, they say it does well. You have to get morning sun in my bathroom, so you have to do it at freaking 6 a.m. in the morning. But take pictures like this, you have to stage them if you're doing Poshmark, because people like staged pictures. So you got to put more effort into it. Where McCary, you can lay it down on the couch in front of you and take a picture of it with your foot in the picture and nobody cares. But Poshmark, you got to get all posh with it. So this is a whole ordeal to do all this, but I got that dress for $1 at Goodwill. Then you have to do all the measurements across the boobs, the waist, the length, all that crap. You have to write it all in the ad, do pictures front, back, and all that stuff, and describe it. So you got to get good with all the names and labels and all that stuff. But if I sold it, so I sold it for $7, I earned $4, I turned $1 into $4. Now, if I did that with every dollar I ever had in my entire life, it's not a lot of money, but $1 into $4 it's more than tripling my money, right? But there was a lot of time involved in all that. But whatever. That's what goes on there. And some things you do better on, some things you do little on. This thing I got for free because somebody wanted me to do a review on it, and it was a bathing suit. So I just used their stock photos and ended up making $13 on it for free item. So some things are great, but you need to really work on getting things that are free. These things with the tags I get from the Dollar General store when they go on clearance for a penny. So penny shopping is a whole nother thing to learn. So if you can find items that are tagged that should have been pulled off the shelves, and they throw them away, by the way, in the dumpsters. but you can find them before the employees pull them. Then you can buy them for a penny, and then you can resell them. And that's still a lot of effort because you got to go on a treasure hunt. But then my earnings was $5. I turned a penny into $5 there. Okay, so that's a whole crazy new thing. There's always a way to bring in more income if needed, and those two apps are great. I just think Poshmark is a lot more work because you have to measure and lighting and stage things, but it's great. It's a wonderful way to resell used clothes, absolutely. But McCary is great too, absolutely. It's just faster because you don't have to do all that stuff. Did we find out which one this one was? A penny, yes. So if you don't join any, if you're not part of any Facebook groups that are part of the Dollar General penny thing, you can get stuff at Lowe's, Walmart, and Home Depot. Pretty much any retail store. Oh, Michael's. They all penny out items. So these groups on Facebook, you join penny groups for these retail stores, and it's usually by a retail store. And they'll flash a picture. I found this today. Run to Walmart right now. It's a penny or 35 cents or 15 cents. And you'll have to rush because everybody else in town that might be part of that group or neighboring areas will be rushing to Walmart too. People watch these websites by like hawks, and then you go and find your penny item. It's just a scavenger hunt, but you've got to spend your time in your car, going to the store, then trying to find the item. And a lot of times, especially at Walmart, they keep the same items in stock, but if you watch carefully, colors change. Like it might have a red stripe at the bottom this week of the box, but next month or season, it'll have a blue stripe. But the same picture, the same kid. You'll eventually start recognizing things that are out of season by colors, and you'll get good at it. It's just a lot of time consuming going to go find these items, but you can absolutely do it. I find my Christmas presents less than $1 every year, but they're always something really, really cool, or penny items. And then they think I'm just like rich woman over here giving away retail new stuff that isn't. It was a penny item because I'm just good at scavenger hunting is all. So it's fun. It's another hobby to do in your spare time. If you're like me and have tons of spare time on your hands, it can be quite addictive, but yeah, it's time consuming. But yes, find some penny groups to join. Super handy dandy. Lots to learn. There's a learning curve, but you can do it. Absolutely. All right. Did we answer this one? It's C. Yep. CCC. All right. We've got to get to some of this new stuff. So here's some more E&M. I want to make sure that everybody's seen these questions. These are the questions that are not going to be MDM, and there's not going to be any time listed, but you still need to be able to do the level visit for them. So are they a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5? If you only have clinical information, can you code this? What is this one, guys? Everybody saying C? For a UTI, a UTI is an illness. If we're going to use O2, Look at your descriptor in your CPT book. It says a minor problem. A problem is like a splinter in the finger. I got glass stuck in my foot. I slammed my finger in the door and I have a hematoma underneath my nail bed and it's killing me. But it's not an illness. A UTI can kill you. It's actually killed quite a few people in the times. Just for a normal first time they ever caught a UTI and it ended up killing them. Just because they didn't seek treatment and get antibiotics. So it is an illness. So we are definitely going to be at the acute illness stage, which is in our 03 descriptor that says that they could have one acute illness, not a minor problem. One of these days I'm going to have a fancy way of showing you guys a picture of the CPT book with the code with the exam question side by side. I'm just trying to figure it all out. But for now, I'll send you to your books to look it up. But this is B. Absolutely. It is one acute illness. Okay? And that, if you want to go write the 203 UTI as an example, right beside it, or pain while urinating, any of those descriptors beside that code would be a great reference during your exam. Here's another one. Another UTI. Is that minimal, low, moderate, or high? You're not going to have time and you're not going to have the MDM stated for you. So what is it? What? What am I doing? Would you like to say hello to everybody, Jamesy? You're good? Okay. He disappeared. Do you think? We got B as a vote. C for Michelle. Michelle's paying attention because this one does have a UTI. And we do have a patient who has diabetes. So we have one chronic, possibly stable, and one acute infection. What does that give us? What does that give us? CCC all day long. Very good. Very good. So if you want to go to moderate and write that down, that diabetes with a UTI means moderate, that would be good notes to have in your CPT book. Promise for your exam. All right, finally, I am to Beth's question that she found on the CPC exam. That is one that I asked her during tutoring. So this exam question was actually one that was on her CPC exam. And if she had 6 questions that were lab and path, I know she got one right because I went over this one twice with her. Because I kept being repetitive, like I like to do sometimes. I get stuck on the same pattern, and I keep trying to think of a new way to explain something in a form that will make sense to somebody. And a lot of people need it explained in a different way, and I'm used to that with my children. I've got one that I can explain an answer to in one way, but then I've got another child that I have to explain it in a totally different way for them too. So I'm used to auditing what I'm saying and then repeat myself multiple times on one thing I'm trying to stress in different ways, like a record player. But anyway, this is your next question, and this one was on your CPC exam. So if we were doing the process of elimination, the first ones are the same, except for the times 3 down at the bottom on the D. The second answers, we're getting different ones. I know we're in the lab section, so number 1, when you're thinking about the lab, what modifier can you use with lab and which modifier can you not use with lab? Because we have codes here with modifiers and we have codes without modifiers and that are doing times. This one was on her exam Saturday in person, and it was 100 questions. So the new exam, so that's very good. We would not use the 76, right? We could go on and do the process of elimination for that one. And I know 91 is my lab code for repeat exams. So just looking at these, I would get rid of A and D and keep B and C. Now, how would I know the differences in picking out the answers on these codes and which one was the right answer? Now, what the codes are telling me here is there is one test done here, one. Then we've got another test done here, but it is done 3 times. I see that they've done the test once, and then they did times 2 here. So this 1 and 2 more times equals 3. So they did one test once, then they did another test 3 times. Could be plausible, could have happened, absolutely. We just need to see our doctor's orders to see what they ordered. The next question says that they did this test 1 time here, and then they multiplied it by 2 more times. So they did it for a total of 3 times. This one CPT code, they did it 3 times. They repeated the test 3 times. The second set right here, it shows me that they did it once, and then they multiplied it times 2 more times. So again, we're doing another test 3 times. So we need to look at our orders. Are we doing one test once and then another test 3 times? Or are we doing 2 tests 3 times each? Does that make sense? And I know it's super low down here on the thing, but I didn't want to show off the answer or the question. So all I'm looking for is to see what test was done and how many times the doctor ordered it. So I'm going to go through my question, and I am only looking for the words of what we did. He ordered 3 CPKs, which are to be done with another test initial. So what does this tell us? Are we ordering 3 of the CPKs and 1 of the isoenzymes? Or what does that with mean? He orders 3 serial CPK enzyme levels with the instructions that the tests are also to be done with isoenzymes if the initial tests are elevated for the date of service. So he ordered 2 tests. He ordered a CPK and he ordered the ISO with the instructions that if the tests are elevated, to repeat them for a series of 3 times. So that's 2 tests times 3. So proper sequencing is helpful. Please don't eat that in my bedroom. I can hear you already dropping stuff on my floor. Don't eat that over my bedspread. That is cheese nips with your over my white bed comforter. I don't want crumbs out of that mouth falling onto my white comforter. I washed all those blankets and sheets last. Out. I know. Out. Why have you got to sit next to me? Don't be eating cheese nips in my bedroom. Don't be eating my cheese nips. Your cheese nips over my bed. Oh, my Lord. Okay. So we have 2 tests ordered. And each test is to be repeated in a series for 3 times. So the proper sequencing for coding, if you repeat a test, is to code it once. Then you will code the same code for as many times after is ordered before you start doing another code or another test, and then its series of however many times it was ordered. I believe with the writing that we've got right here, this means that we're going to do both tests 3 times. So to do that, coding-wise, I need to have the same exact situation going on here. We've got 1 plus 2 equals 3, and then I have 1 plus 2 equals 3. So 2 tests times 3. And that's exactly how you would code it, is C. Because B just does the first test, the CPK, and then it only does the ISOs times 3. The wording on this is extremely propaganded, psychologically written to make you not see that both tests are absolutely done 3 times. No one writes a sentence ever like this. He orders 3 serial, CPK enzyme levels with instructions that tests are to also be done with this if the initial test is elevated for the data service. No one writes orders like that. He's going to order a CPK with ISOs times 3. That's how the order's going to be written. You will never see a sentence like that in real life ever. But AAPC paid some psychologist to write a sentence for this exam in the most vague propaganda way to confuse you so that you don't understand there's 2 tests times 3. So this test exam question was on her exam, which is wonderful information to have, and we were so blessed to have that information. I just want y'all to understand, if you see a question like this, you'll know how to answer it on your own. You will definitely not be doing timeses without a 91 in your lab section. So you know you can get rid of all on your own A's and D's. Then this gets you a 50-50 shot at the answer. So look for patterns. 2 CPT codes and both times 2. Perfect. We've got an abnormal pattern here when we've got one number and then another number, and one number is not times 2 and the other number is. So it's not a good pattern. It doesn't match. So even knowing nothing about the question or what you're doing or how to decide what a serial CPK is, or even that isoenzymes is even another test, even if you didn't know that, or this was all Greek to you, look for patterns. Look for patterns. We know with the process of elimination, we're going to get rid of things that don't look the same. And that will help you out if you think about it like that. That we are absolutely, we got to know our 91 goes with lab. So if you see a question where 2 of the answers have 91 in it and 2 of the answers don't, then great. We're going to pick those 2 91s, right? Then that leaves you with just those 2. Then look for a pattern in those that is consistent and even across the board. Sorry, I'm plugging up my phone. I've already talked for like 4 hours, I think, and I haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. All right. Another one that was on the exam on Monday online, last Monday online, was this lab one where we know with the process of elimination we're going to get rid of our 44. We're going to get rid of our 29 because it's not as close as our 23 and our 25. These two are super close together. We know that this CPT code is, I think, slides or something. And then this one is for records. And all we have to do with this one is word match because this one is patient records. So our answer is definitely with the records, which is A. I shared this one in the last live that I did on, was it yesterday? Was it Saturday? Day before yesterday, yeah. This one was also on the online CPC exam for Monday. Many of y'all have seen it before. How would you code this one?
Found the belt, finally. Oh my god, after so much search.
Where'd you find it? Let me see.
Oh.
Is it for sale?
No.
Well, you gotta be looking on Amazon or something if you're wanting to buy it. Hey, take your cheese nips out of this room. Out. And don't eat them in my couch either.
Okay.
Put them in a bowl. You eat them at the kitchen table like a decent human being.
Oops.
Instead of getting cheese nip cracker crumbs all over my house. All right. This one is absolutely correct, guys. Because the old man wants, anytime you see that, anybody wants a second opinion that is other than a physician to physician, always gets a new patient office visit. Always. That one was on their exam on Monday. So the next information is shared by Beth. I have not even read through it 100% because I've been busy this afternoon. But this is what she had to say. And I'm going to post this on the document that I have on Etsy for what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. I'm going to add her notes to the bottom, and I'm going to add these questions that we went over today that were reported to be examples that are very close, or if not, the exam questions from the CPC exam. So I'm going to add her notes to it tonight, and I'll get those emails sent out to the previous buyers tonight before I go to bed. But here's what she said. One thing I will say is that 10 cases at the end, at the very bottom, they were not that bad. If you give yourself enough time to really look at the question, underline keywords. Remember, you can still do it even if you're online because you can underline keywords, okay? Even with a dry erase board, it will be okay. Medical terms and anatomy was very easy. She's clinical, so we'll take that into consideration, and it's only 8 questions in total, so that's super nice. She said this is she took her exam in person on Saturday. So for the people that are taking it in person, the first was broken up in series like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. That's exactly how both of my exams were when I took them. It goes section by section. I mean, seriously, they'll start out with anesthesia and keep going all the way through that book. So it's super helpful. It also, let me tell you a trick. When you are in the section and you are in the 3000s section or even 4000 sections, but your answer is A, B, C, and D, okay? And one of them will be 4,000, blah, blah, blah. The next one will be 4,000, blah, blah, blah. The next one might be 111, blah, blah, blah. And then the next one will be 9, 2, 3, 8, 7. You know, I mean, even without my process of elimination, you're going to be in the 4,000s because you're going in the correct order of the book a lot of times in those exam questions, and the exam questions fall in the sequence. You're in cardiology for a little while. You'll do 5 or 6 questions there. Then you'll move on to something else, urology. You know your answer's going to be in the 4,000 range. So go on and eliminate answers that are from a different section when you're moving through the sections. For sure. All right. Know the guidelines for excisions of lesions, adjacent tissue, similar to the practice question we were talking about. So I had a practice exam question that I got stumped on. I'm like, why is the answer that? A lot of times I'll pick questions that I might not know the full answer to during the exam or during tutoring, because I like to see if we can work out the reason why the answer is what the answer is, especially with somebody as good as Beth is. She is super smart, is clinical, and I have a hard time stumping her on questions. So I had one about adjacent tissue, and I talked about it in the live after our tutoring because we found out that I even had the notes written, but I had the notes written in the wrong, I had the notes written where the notes are, but I didn't move them to the code because we were in the 2021 book. So where is our adjacent codes? Anybody know where those are? Here in musculoskeletal, or not musculoskeletal, integumentary. I'm a-looking. I know they're back here, and I thought they were with that face stuff. They're before the MAS, right? I thought. I'm already at the MAS, so maybe they're not. Where is our adjacent tissue? You're so glad I found you. I'm so glad too, Mom. So glad. I hope I can absolutely help you pass your CPC exam for sure. Boo, we got flaps going on. Where is our adjacent tissue? Full thickness, surgery prep. We're getting close. Page 105, guys. Okay. There we go. Okay. Adjacent tissue. I'm in the 2022 book right now just because my 2021 is under this one. But adjacent tissue, the way the section is written, the guideline is on one page and then the codes start on another page. So if you don't move your guidelines to the codes, you're going to be in trouble. So your guideline says that it includes excisions, but when you go to the CPT code descriptor, I've written it all the way down, but right here it just says adjacent tissue transfer and rearrangement of the trunk defect. 10 square centimeters. It doesn't tell you that it includes the excision of whatever crap they need to remove, and then they're putting in adjacent tissue from surrounding areas and filling in that area. They don't tell you in the code descriptor. So I went through here after we found that question and wrote it on top of every one of those parent codes, because they're going to try to trick you during the CPC exam and add an excision to an adjacent tissue transfer to make you think that you need to build the excision in one place and then you need to do the adjacent transfer as another code. It seems very logical to do that, absolutely, because you do multiple things in other areas. But these particular adjacent tissue transfer codes include your excision. So it will only be one code for an excision and a transfer of tissue. It's one code. And it's not clear in the CPT code descriptor. So right there saves you a question of getting wrong on your CPC exam. So that's what she's talking about in her little bio right here about the similar to the practice question where she says that statement. That's the statement. That's exactly the codes that she's talking about, and that's what I did to my notes to fix that situation. All right, she said to be sure you know about autografts and full thickness grafts, punch biopsies and shavings, breast biopsies and stereotactic. We had one of those late night 2 a.m. questions in our study group chat, which y'all can mute, by the way, in case you're asleep or we might wake up your baby or something. In case you didn't know, if we're talking too late, there is an option by clicking A up here. You can mute it for a few hours or forever or whatever. Right up here, you can mute it. You'll still get our messages, but you can look at it in the morning when you wake up. So just in case we're ignoring y'all. We try not to chat too late, but somebody had insomnia and was asking about a breast biopsy and wire something or another. It was a pretty cool question, but we did discuss one of those on Sunday night, by the way, about breast biopsies, INDs. So she's listed out some CPT codes that were definitely on her exam right here in the musculoskeletal area. It was heavy on pacemakers. One question did have a PICC line. Hernias, with or without mesh. Love it. If it's mesh, what happens? It's an extra code, and it's an add-on code. Anytime your hernia is done, and anytime you see the word mesh, it's a second code. Here where I was talking about the adjacent tissue, it's only one code. It does the excision and the adjacent tissue all in one. Well, hernias is different. Anytime anybody says anything about a mesh, it's an extra code. You're going to have two codes, and it's an add-on code. Yes, to answer your question, lady. Absolutely. What type of pens do you use? Ooh, I'm so glad you asked. I like, because I hate taking caps on and off, I like the retractable Sharpie, only in the ultra fine, and it can't be just fine. It's got to be ultra fine. Ugh, I don't know if my camera can get it. But ultra fine, it has to be ultra fine, and you just don't even need to press down on this paper. This paper is super thin. You just glide over it. So easy peasy. Love it. Plus it's bright. It shows up. It's dark enough, but then it doesn't show through on my paper. Love Sharpie. Love Sharpie. But it's got to be ultra fine, and I use the retractable ones. You can use any highlighter. Again, I like to use the retractable ones, but I don't care what brand or flavor. Any of them will do. You're going to use a bunch of them. But Sharpies ultra fine are my favorite. No tabs. Don't tab those books. Just leave the tabs alone. Don't make no tabs. Just leave them alone. You don't need it. Your test questions are going to be code by code. They're going to give you the answer. You're going to run to the code, and what you need to know is the difference between that code and the other code that is a possible answer. Having one-word differences in those codes written right next to the number is more helpful than anything else under the sun. Okay, I'm getting distracted again. So, hernias are 2 codes if it's a mesh. Hemorrhoid banding, colonoscopies with a snare, unusual circumcisions with a ring or a block, a turp, an abortion, an electro or a eutropian. We've got the eyes going all crazy. We've got ear issues. Yes. We've got ultrasounds on pregnancies with and without non-stress testing. We've got screening mammograms. But they may tell you in the top part of the question that the patient has a family history of some crap, but ignore all that. If it says they ordered screening, bill screening. Don't give them a diagnostic just because they have a family history. If the order says screening, it's a screening. Okay. Lab panels, these 2 codes. What can you bundle with them together? Therapeutic assay, pap smear. She did not have any immunization questions at all. One question we went over about the 3 CPK enzyme levels was on the test. Pathology consult during surgery. I have a question for this one. I did not prep that one, but I will for my next live, which will be, what day is this? This is Monday. Okay. Wednesday at 6:30 Arizona time zone. Chemo infusion time. I got to find you one for that. Audiology test I need to find you, and OMT I need to find you. But that's it. As far as the book and all her lovely rainbows, it being a 2021 book, and with all the notes that I've encouraged and asked her to put in, no one cared, is the last statement. Wow, I really thought it would not be organized in series. Yes, it is. You're not going from one section to another section. Their practice questions are sometimes series by series, you know. You start out in anesthesia and E&M, and then you go down 2,000s, 3,000s, 4,000s, 5,000s, then you do lab, then you do your diagnosis codes, and finish up with your guidelines and stuff and laws, but the exam's pretty much the same way. Yeah. Thank you, Beth, so much. Shell is so happy. What a memory. I don't know the name after the test. I know. I didn't know my name before the test, so when they asked me my name and date of birth, I just kind of stared at them. Like, what? You want what? I don't know who I am. But yes, thank you so much, Beth. And our other lady that let us know what was on the exam Monday. Oh my gosh. Who was that? She did the online exam on Monday. What day is today? Today's the 24th. I tutored her the day after her exam or something, like on the 18th. So that would have been Lorraine, I think. Lorraine. She helped me with some of the questions too, and gave me some, said that question was on my exam. That question was on my exam too. So that's super helpful. No, you can use your 2021 books, Alice. And I have, if you have an interest, if you want to keep your books and use them for the exam in 2022 all year long. I do have a document on Etsy that you can get that will go page by page, and it will tell you, go to page 63 and add this code underneath this other code, because it is a new add-on code for this code. If you want to turn your 2021 book into a 2022 book, it's a great year to do it. There's only 5 codes to add for E&M. Super easy to do. Take you 5 minutes to do. All it is adding a child code to one parent code. You're deleting one line from one E&M sentence, and then you're adding 4 codes for a new section. 2 of them are parents, and then 2 of them are child codes for a new section in E&M. I tell you what page to go to and where to write them, and that's on the Etsy store, and it's called CPT 2022 versus 2021, and I have one for the ICD10 book too, in case you wanted to update that. But I recommend that if you're taking your CPC and you pass your CPC, if you're still looking for employment as a new person who is newly a CPC with no experience, and you want to get a job but you want to look better than anybody else out there, go on and get your risk certification too. Fixing to come out with some information on it just because I've been asked. But health plans and medical groups are really going to risk. And if you're a coder that can also risk adjust, you're not going to have any trouble finding a job. But anyway, I have that up on Etsy if you're interested at all in keeping your book and using it for this year. All year long. You absolutely can use it for your CPC exams, any of them for 2022. You can use your 2021 books all year long. I just recommend writing in the new codes. It's super easy this year. There's not a lot to add. If you want to join my chat study group, please find me at Messenger, Jen Brewer, simple thing right there. Find me on Messenger. Only find me there. Only at the Jen Brewer one. Then you can join my Messenger chat group. If you want to schedule tutoring, that's on my website, Medical Coding by Jen. I'm going to have a lot of new stuff coming up, but for right now, all that site's really good for is just scheduling tutoring with me. But I hope to move a ton of stuff over there, including some free exams. I'm going to do some education and group tutoring. Maybe we could do more group tutoring there, I have lots of ideas that would be fun. Anyway, so just find me on Messenger if you want to join in on the chat. Also, this repeat live from TikTok will be added to my YouTube page tomorrow if it's recorded and saved by TikTok. All my old repeat lives that did save from TikTok, we lost a few. We lost a lot in November. But most of them are posted right there if you want to watch 2 hours of me blathering on about all kinds of things, including my kids interrupting and lots of things. Lots of conversations about warts and boxes and things. But yeah, they're there. Oh, look at my little Travie. When I first got him. Isn't he the cutest thing? He's grown up so big now. Oh my gosh. Did y'all see his artwork? He's getting quite good. I love his pen and ink that he did right there. That's just really awesome. He's so handsome. And then my Jaybird. But yes, I go on and on about my kids. I guess everybody else does. But love Sharpies. Just make sure they're the ultra fine so they don't bleed through the pages. The pages are super, super thin. These write without having to push on them. They just glide over the page without any pressure. Their tip is just wonderful. Love it. So that's what I like to use. I've used every brand known to man. when I first started all this mess out and was working on creating material for you guys. So that is super helpful. Remember, if you want to join my study group, the people in this group just share their hard work and what they've done to their notes and books and give you ideas, will help you with any coding situations that you have, like what is the code for the glucose thing I forgot about and haven't gone back to. Sorry about that, Red. But join our chat group, please. It's free. We all are in there volunteering our time to help you out, and it is super helpful, and you will gain a lot of information there for sure. If you're ready for your CPC exam and you really want to just prep your book and practice exam questions, that's when you need to join. If you're just getting into the coding game and fixing to take some course or something, you might not be ready for that group yet, but you can always join and observe. But when you're ready for practice exams, I'm not going anywhere. I'll always be here to help. I could win the lotto tomorrow and I'd still want to do this. It's just I don't like seeing people suffer for no reason, and I think what they're charging for their courses and what other sites are charging for their helpful information to help you pass the exam is cruel and unusual punishment. And there's a simpler way to pass this exam, and the more people that I can get in a stable medical career position, the better your life is going to be and the better that your community is going to be, and that's just going to help everybody around the world. And these are great jobs, longevity jobs, careers that older people can attain and stay in without being pushed out. Just great benefits, little bit of work compared to retail or any other profession you want to do. The work amount load is way less. I'm sitting here doing physical therapy on my fingers while I'm talking. And the benefits are just wonderful. Plus, being able to work from home with your family is crazy and a lot to juggle, especially with the refrigerator being so close. But it's a really a wonderful career to go into. And if I could talk anybody into being an auditor like I am, it's lovely and wonderful. Or taking a risk. I could see that really being a wonderful step up above being a CPC and really having your head above everybody else in the hiring game is if you add one more certificate. And I know I don't want you giving AAPC any money for any of their courses, any of their add-ons or anything. Just buy your yearly membership that you're forced to get, buy your exam, and I'll teach you how to pass whatever exam it is. It doesn't matter what exam. I'm not trying to make you buy more stuff or spend more money, but that extra certificate will really, if you're having trouble finding a job, one more will do a world of good. And risk or auditing is a great way to do it. So that's it. I know I've talked a bunch. My kids are dying for me to come hang out with them, so I'm going to go hang out with them, and then I've got to work. As soon as I put them to bed, I will add this information to what's been on the CPC exam in the last 45 days. I've got a couple of more questions that I need to add because I'm on the CPC exam in the last 45 days. I've got a couple of more questions that I need to add because I know I have one for the pathology consult for surgery. I have that question. I got to go find it, and I'll add that to what's been on the exam for the last 45 days, and then I'll get those emails sent out before I go to bed tonight. Got to do some college classes tonight, too, because I'm working on that PhD. Yes. Took 4 classes this semester on top of the job and the kids and you guys. Isn't that crazy? I'm just insane, I think. Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me more about risk adjustment? It sounds interesting. Risk adjustment is, Okay, auditing is wonderful because it's trying to find mistakes in like treasure hunting, because when you find a mistake that they've been making, it's like winning the lotto. I love auditing. Okay, risk adjustment is a Medicare thing that, and a healthcare thing, I guess, all the way around, but it was developed by CMS. So what happens in California? I'll tell you a California scenario. Okay. The health plans collect your money monthly from your employer, most likely, to pay for your health care needs. Those health plans pay medical groups per employer group. They will send, like all Coca-Cola company employees will hopefully go to this medical group. That health plan will write them a contract and say, okay, you'll take on my 20,000 Amazon employees or this Blue Shield plan, group, whatever plan number, and we're going to pay you $3 per 20,000 employees to take care of them no matter what goes on in their life each month. Okay, so this doctor's group, like Kaiser Permanente, will agree to take care of all of Coca-Cola's employees for $3 per month per employee, even though they're taking $43 every 2 weeks out of your paycheck. Just saying. Okay, so that health plan medical group will contract with LabCorp and say, okay, you'll take care of drawing all the lab work on all my Coca-Cola employees for 40 cents per 20,000 patients every month, no matter what. I don't have to send you claims. You don't have to send me claims back. I don't have to adjudicate anything. If they are a Coca-Cola employee from my group, you are going to draw whatever blood it is. You're going to run that test no matter what. You're capitated at your claim. So they'll also contract with the local hospital. Okay, St. Mary Hospital, whoever, you're going to do all my outpatient colonoscopies, mammograms. You're going to do all my flex SIGs. You're going to do all my gallbladder removals. You're going to do all this for a set amount, contract price per surgery. So if you're going to do outpatient surgery, you're going to get Medicare allotment plus 2%. Okay, if you do a hospital stay, you're going to get Medicare adjusted rate minus 5%. So they write all these contracts. They divvy out all the money that the health plans gave them that's pittance on the dollar compared to what they're getting. Everybody gets a monthly check no matter who gets what done. So if you've got one cancer kid who needs chemotherapy, radiation, and a heart and lung transplant, that medical group has to pay for all of it. That hospital has to pay for all of it. That doctor's group, that lab has to draw all those labs for that one patient. So this is where you get risk adjustment coming into play. So you want to know who your high volume patients are. You want to know who goes to the ER every time they have a cold versus going to urgent care or coming in to see their primary care physician. You also want to know who your population is. You want to know who your 80-year-old patients are. You want to know who your 50-year-old patients are. There's guidelines like every woman over 50 needs to have a mammogram. So you're given a risk-adjusted number value just based off age and rate, age and sex, okay? So if you're male or female or your age, you're given a rate that says this is your risk level for getting sick and dying on us and costing us a lot of money. Well, per diagnosis, you get higher up the risk chain. If you have CKD5 or polycystic disease, or you have renal failure, you're going higher up the chain. You can produce reports based off risk. Every diagnosis is given another number, like that whole ICD-10 book. Everybody's got a code for a number value based off of a disease. Well, each disease also has another number that gives you a rate of how sick they could be possibly. And you want to know who those patients are so they can run reports off of their sickest patients, get them intervention care. If you have a patient who goes to the ER 5 times a year and that costs you $30,000 each time they go to the ER because they're utilizing huge things, but they're only being seen there for asthma attacks or I guess asthma is a really good one. 5 times a year, $30,000 a pop, when they haven't seen their primary care physician for a routine physical in 2 years, then they're not managing their health appropriately. You want to get a case manager to call them, get them in with a primary care physician, check out their lungs, do a spirometer on them, preventative medicines, make sure that they're refilling their prescriptions on time. They do track your prescriptions too. If you're taking a blood pressure pill and you don't fill it on that 30th day, and they know you're skipping pills, let me tell you, they know you're skipping pills because they count them. If they write you a prescription and you fill it too soon, too late, if you're not refilling that albuterol 12 times a year, it's counted against the physician, your primary care group or physician. You got to get in that pharmacy and refill those meds correctly on time so you are risk adjusted. Like in Japan, if you jaywalk, you get risk adjusted as a citizen. You can't fly out of the country and go to other countries if you are a bad citizen. If you drop trash on the sidewalk, they know about it and they will flag your passport and say, no, you trash your own streets. How are you going to act when you go to another country? It's gotten kind of crazy over there in Japan, but here in medicine, we know whether you refilled your meds or not. We know if you haven't been in for your mammogram or not, if you haven't done your colonoscopy. If you have high blood pressure, why aren't you in twice a year to get your blood pressure checked? If you have diabetes, you need to see your primary care physician 4 times a year for 4 hemoglobin A1C lab draws. So if you're not getting those done, risk involved in all that will produce reports. It's just report generating, which is lovely if you like generating reports and sending them out to case managers so that they can call the patients and get them in and get them seen. So long story short, that's what risk is, and that's not short at all. That was a really long explanation, but that's what risk does. So if you want to make sure patients stay healthy, that they actually do come in and see their primary care physician, and that they are getting getting their needs taken care of, then you might like risk, because it's not denying care like referrals or other areas could be, or prior authorizations where you know they're sick. You've got all this documentation, but you can't get authorization to get some test approved. That's got to be the worst job in healthcare ever. But risk adjustment analyzes your population. You generate reports based off correct diagnoses. If your doctors are always going 250.00 for diabetes, well, that used to be the code. Sorry. The code is now E11 or whatever, 0.9. It's always non-specific, non-specific, non-specific. Nothing's ever specific, but then they have CKD. Well, you know they have diabetes with renal insufficiency. They're not using the correct diagnosis code for that because they're using the non-specific code. You have to educate your physicians on which proper diagnosis codes to use. You get to do that too with risk. So That's always fun, trying to get them to change their ways. They're just as stubborn as we are. We don't like to change our ways. So in risk, you get to educate your physicians, and you get to also educate your patients and get them in and get them seen. So it's a good, rewarding career. It really is. It's bean counting, and I don't like it. I like finding errors in the healthcare field. That's why I like auditing. But yay, thank you for the hearts. I hope that's helpful. And I'm going to go put my babies to bed and maybe eat some dinner. I haven't eaten yet today. I keep forgetting. It was a busy day. Busy day. So go eat, and then I'll work on this form and get this sent out to everybody. I hope this has been helpful. I'm so glad that some of the questions that I've already know and been quizzing people on are still the same exam questions that are already on the exam and still being given out today. It hasn't changed except for reducing of the questions, and even the cases were not that bad. So it's great to hear. I thank Lorraine and Beth so much for helping us out with that information. And I will see y'all again on Wednesday night. Oh my gosh, I did 4 hours tonight. Are you kidding me? I talked forever. Oh no. Oh no. This is not going to load up on YouTube, is it? Good gracious. Good night, guys. It's glad to meet some of you new people too. I hope to see you, Mom, later, and Sin Mo, it's good to see you too, and Alicia, Lily. It's really good to see a lot of you new guys in here, and some of our long timers. Shell, so good to see you too, and BZ, Alicia. All right, guys. Keisha too. All right, guys. I will see y'all on Wednesday, if not in the chat room. I hope this has been helpful. See you there, guys.